And I understand that we have an opening comment from Gazelem. You want to give us a heads up on what we're about to read?
Oh, yeah. So, in working on my Grimoire of Mormon, I've been employing a lot of the same techniques as Joseph Smith that he learned from my family, such as a seer stone and, of course, a hat. But it is really important to realize with the different influences around him at the time. So everybody should keep close attention for Pentecostal influences such as glossolalia and when the bodies hit the floor. So just keep your eyes peeled. It's going to get exciting.
Is everybody able to see all of us presented? Because when I look online, it looks like it's just me. There we go.
Oh wait, Peter, maybe. Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right. It might have been a delayed thing on my screen. I want to make sure we weren't having a problem we had like a week ago.
It's
Well,
kind
in
of
case
it's
people
kind of a
missed my
delayed thing
stone-
with
the stone in the hat.
it's kind of a delayed thing with my remote. I have no clue why, but it's slow.
I think you might have just got the audio on me. So if anybody missed the rock in the hat, here we go.
Okay. Got it. Thank you. All right. Ember, what's up with you?
Just got back from a trip with the younglings. Went to an amusement park in the middle of Pennsylvania called Knoebels. It's the world's largest free admission park. It was a long day, but it was pretty nifty. If anybody's nearby, it's worth checking out because it's free admission.
Omer?
Nice.
I'm fine.
Bryce.
Hi, hello. Yes, I'm here. Yes, and my friend and co-host Shannon regrets that she is unable to be here, having to step out for medical reasons. But yeah, here, ready to read more about Ammon and King Lamoni and all the fun stuff that we're getting into here, because some fun stuff actually happens in the book right now.
Yeah, and Jimmy may or may not be able to join us because he told me that somebody near him is facing a brush fire that may need to be help rescuing them, and so he said he might have to go down and do that. So, yeah, every time I talk to him, I'm kind of impressed with like who and how he is. So, I told him today too that I appreciate you and just sincerely go fuck yourself. All right, so let's get started on this thing. Who's going to be reading today?
I am.
Well, if you want it that badly.
Yeah. And Gazelem asked that I should do it as well. So.
Well, there's a part coming up, yeah, that will be important that you talk about.
Okay, chapter 18. And it came to pass that King Lamoni caused that his servants should stand forth and testify to all the things which they had seen concerning the matter. And when they had all testified to the things which they had seen, and he had learned of the faithfulness of Ammon in preserving his flocks, and also of his great power in contending against those who sought to slay him, he was astonished exceedingly, and said, Surely this is more than a man. Behold, is not this the great spirit who doth send much great punishments upon these people because of their murders? And they answered the king and said, Whether he be the great spirit or a man, we know not. But this much we do know, that he cannot be slain by the enemies of the king, neither can they scatter the king's flocks when he is with us, because of his expertness and great strength. Therefore, we know that he is a friend to the king. And now, O king, we do not believe that the man has such great power, for we know he cannot be slain. And now when the king heard these words, he said unto them, Now I know that it is the great spirit, and he has come down at this time to preserve your lives, that I might not slay you as I did your brethren. Now this is the great spirit of whom our fathers have spoken. Now this was the tradition of Lamoni, which he had received from his father, that there was a great spirit. Notwithstanding, they believed in a great spirit. They supposed that whatsoever they did was right. Nevertheless, Lamoni began to fear exceedingly, with fear lest he had done wrong in slaying his servants. For he had slain many of them because their brethren had scattered their flocks at the
Okay,
place of water.
let's make clear here is that these people think Ammon is the Great Spirit or Jesus Christ.
Well, thanks for that clarification. When we say when you say the Great Spirit, are we appropriating the Native American belief and trying to make this seem less Jewish and more Native American?
That is exactly what is happening. That is exactly why they switched the terminology to Great Spirit in this portion, because they are trying to say that all of the Native American groups with which the European settlers were interacting were referring to Great Spirit, or the spirits that animate the world around them. They were like, oh no, Great Spirit, that's actually just Jesus. That's Jesus. You should read this book. It's history of your people. We promise.
Lamanites, the Lamanites.
Interestingly, well, semi-interestingly, Orson Scott Card, the author behind Ender's Game, whom you may be aware is himself an LDS member, wrote a book about the redemption of Christopher Columbus, where time travelers go back in time and try to undo some of Columbus's horrors. And one of the things they do is appropriate the Native American myths in Central America, like the Aztecs and the Mayas and such. And they're like, oh no, the Lords of Xibalba, that's actually, Jesus and such.
Well, that's still going on in Mormon apologetic circles to this day. They are still using figures that are engraved in Aztec and Mayan temples, or buildings or pyramids, and saying, no, that was actually Jesus who came and visited. Quetzalcoatl, that is definitely Jesus. That is that is consistent with the Book of Mormon. So that appropriation, that colonialism of Native history, that is still happening by believing Mormons to this day.
Double-headed serpents.
Yeah, there you go.
Christ
Do
and
you want to read
Satan.
the comments? Or?
All
All
right,
right.
we have the comment. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So Minute Rice. Hello, Minute Rice says, it does my non-existent soul good to hear the book read in the original Reformed Egyptian.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And thus, because they had their flocks scattered, they were slain. Now it was the practice of these Lamanites to stand by the waters of Sebus to scatter the flocks of the people, that thereby they might drive away many that were scattered unto their own land, it being a practice of plunder among them.
So see, that's those bad brother Lamanites that are all causing tricks and troubles.
And it just needs to the book needs to drive home the point that no, these guys that got their arms cut off and is killed by sling, no, they were actually bad guys. All right, no, just rest assured, it's all right. These are evil dark-skinned people.
These were the evil Lamanites, not the good Lamanites.
Not the
Not
Samuel
the identical
Lamanites.
twin good Lamanites.
That's right.
And it came to pass that King Lamoni inquired of his servants, saying, where is this man that has such great power? And they said unto him, behold, he is feeding thy horses.
Those are tapirs. We're talking about llamas and tapirs here.
Yeah,
Let's make this clear.
That's right.
The Torah speaks in human tongues. That rule applies here as well.
Okay, I'm a little confused. How do we know that we're talking about llamas and tapirs? Is this like post-apologetics? Did somebody decide, you know what, that this shouldn't be in Missouri? This should be in South America. Did somebody figure out, hey, if we have all of this happening in Missouri, we got there's like this burgeoning practice of archaeology that's just coming out. And if we have all of these stories taking place in Missouri, there's going to be some people who say, where the fuck is all the clothes? We need to move this story to what we currently consider an unapproachable jungle, where at least while we're alive, no one will ever find the proof against the bullshit we're selling right now. Let's just move this to another continent.
Aaron, you are tapping into the greatest fight among Mormon apologists today. and that is the Mesoamerican model versus the Heartland model. The Heartlanders are like the radical white supremacists, and they believe that the whole Book of Mormon happened in like Illinois and Missouri and the Great Lakes area,
as Joseph Smith did.
Yeah, and then there's the Mesoamerican model, which is much more accepted among the believing and less radical Mormons, and that's the version that this all happened in, like the greater geography model of the Book of Mormon, that the land northward is the North America, the land southward is South America, and like most of the events are happening in Central America. So like this is the mystery that you're tapping into here, Aaron, is the greatest divide among Mormon apologists today. Where did it actually happen? And the way that they've tried to resolve that is the Mesoamerican model people like Dan Peterson have come up with ideas that, you know, well, the Book of Mormon, when it says horses, it was just, God was just giving Joseph Smith language that he was familiar with. He didn't know about tapirs, but what the book is actually talking about is
what I said. That's exactly what I said, that the rabbis sometimes have this interpretation that the Torah speaks in human tongue. And so they understood according to what they knew.
Yep,
exactly.
So can anybody pull up a picture of someone riding a tapir?
Oh, go to the Ex-Mormon subreddit. People have, I mean, this is a huge meme in the Mormon or the Ex-Mormon sphere. Like there are plenty of pictures or like little memes that show a little tapir, and it says not a cult. It's spelled C-O-L-T, but like, you know, cult. So like it's like this is alive and well in the ex-Mormon sphere. This is universally laughed at by non-believing Mormons.
I saw a video online of someone riding a tapir, and it was pretty disgusting because they had to masturbate it before they could hop on, because it had to,
well done.
It had to be calm enough for him to be able to get on the thing, because they don't like people to climb up on them.
True story. It's unlike, you know, our you know, proper horses. They just start right up, but apparently these South American horses need to be hand cranked.
Yeah, like old cars, old-fashioned Model T.
Make sure you wear gloves.
Oh, what happened to you? I blew a throw rod.
The model tapir, the Model T.
Oh no. Okay.
I got another comment here. Skeptical Brain says, an apologist, Dan Peterson, said it was tapirs because horses didn't exist in the Americas at that time. Yep. Thank you, Skeptical Brain. I was picking up that, you know, if we talk about all this shit, somebody's going to know.
Yeah.
And Dan Peterson has the loving nickname in the ex-Mormon sphere of Tapir Dan Man.
Yeah.
Because he is infamous for that apologetic.
Just
awesome.
What's the reason we ride horses? We ride horses because they're faster and that they can go further and they're more efficient than walking, right?
Well, and we're lazy.
That's the energy required from you to ride a tapir anywhere.
Oh, don't even get us started on having to strap a fucking chariot to these animals.
Oh, God.
Okay, mine is slowing down. I better reach underneath and wind it up again.
Give him the good old red rocket.
So now let's imagine an army or like a caravan, and we're going to the fucking jungle.
You get your cavalry in a line and you're like, all right, men, charge. Yank, 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 yank.
Arn, you asked for a picture, Arn. You won't believe what the first one is that came up.
Hell yes.
Oh, that's excellent. Oh no.
I'm sorry, I missed something. Couldn't change screens. Well, oh shit.
That's literally
That's
the
not
first.
photoshopped at all either.
I did a search on man riding a tapir. This is the first one that Google turned out.
That's the original daguerreotype.
Yeah.
Yes.
They were way advanced than people were back in the day.
That's actually Zelf. That's Zelf, the white Lamanite, right there.
Okay.
I'm a little confused though, because that's still that's yeah, I get Native American at this time. They would have called, what would they call them, American Indians or whatever. That's still a North American.
Yeah, but details.
They were extinct.
Yeah, explain this
I've been to
somehow.
Yucatan. They look a bit different. They're different garb and all that.
Yeah.
They dug up a horse in Lehigh and were like, wow, see, there were horses in America, but this thing
Yes.
was like a 20,000-year-old horse or something.
Yeah.
You know, when you guys
A
mention llamas,
miniature.
when you guys mention llamas, I'm a little confused now because, and maybe the authors clearly were not aware of this, but I mean the tapir actually is closely related to the horse. They're perissodactyls. The tapir has 3 toes. Horses originally had 3 toes. Rhinos have 3 toes. These are all perissodactyls. And then llamas are camels. They're the same thing. They're just the American camel. The difference is 700 pounds. So
I was behind that apologetic, so I apologize.
So when they're talking about llamas in there, they're using tapirs as replacement of horses. Is the llama a replacement of a camel? Are they also riding 140-pound llamas?
You can share a llama. That's why, because we're talking about the flock.
Sheep.
When you say we can share a llama,
Wait, yeah, I was confused too.
llama.
Share?
Share
Wait.
a llama.
shear. Okay.
Oh, shear. Okay.
Share a llama because of their flock, you know.
Okay.
I don't know where my head went.
I
me
love
too.
wearing a llama wool sweater. It's even itchier than regular wool.
Okay, I'll continue. Now the king had commanded his servants previous to the time of the watering of the flocks that they should prepare his horses and chariots and conduct him forth to the land of Nephi. For there had been a great feast appointed at the land of Nephi by the father of Lamoni, who was king over all the land. Now when King Lamoni heard that Ammon was preparing his horses and his chariots, he was more astonished because of the faithfulness of Ammon, saying, surely there has not been any servant among all my servants that has been so faithful as this man. For even he doth remember all my commandments to execute them. Now I surely know that this is the Great Spirit, and I would desire him that he come in unto me, but I, Fred, durst not. And it came to pass that when Ammon had made ready the horses and the chariots for the king and his servants,
the tapirs and chariots.
They may as well have been pulled by pigs.
And let us not forget, it's the Great Spirit that's getting these all prepped up for Lamoni.
He went in unto the king, and he saw that the countenance of the king was changed. Therefore, he was about to return out of his presence. And one of the king's servants said unto him, Rabbana, which is... Okay, I when I first read this, I was like, this is the first Jewish name in this book.
Rabbana.
Because it connects to... It reminds me of Rabbah or Rabban, which is a designation of a rabbi, a famous rabbi, like Rabban Gamliel, for example, or
like from Dune.
I don't know Dune.
Is
there a rabbi?
It was taken from the Kabbalah and the Talmud as well. So, yeah, and Rabbah as well, which is used like in Midrash, like Bereshit Rabbah, Shemot Rabbah, etc., which designates like the greater like context or the expansion of the Bible, something like this. So yeah.
It's weird that the Lamanites, who are using the term Great Spirit, all of a sudden use this pseudo-Jewish term to call Ammon.
Yeah, it's
interesting.
Well, and like and a larger commentary as well. Like this is the first time that a lot of this language is appearing ever in this book, right? And if we're to understand the lineage of this book, it's supposed to be from people who were Hebrews who came to America. This is the first time that we find an actual Jewish word in this book, right? So that's pretty odd. And this, well,
pseudo-Jewish.
Right?
It's almost.
How could you say
Jewish?
How could you say pseudo-Jewish? How is it pseudo-Jewish if you're reading it in Reformed Egyptian?
Because Reformed Egyptian uses a lot of Hebrew words in it. So, like, if you go back to, like, in the temple, they say Pele El. Pe is mouth, El is God. I don't know what lay is. Is there a mouth to ear? Is there hearing related?
Hey, kinks are a whole other show.
He studied a lot of Kabbalah and things, and really wanted to find these ancient languages and how these hidden languages and put meaning to them.
The way you describe this, though, makes it sound like, well, in Reformed Egyptian, it really is like that. But there is no Reformed Egyptian.
Don't lie.
Sure. There is. I have it right here.
You show that image of the Native American walking, the Indian chief riding on the tapir, and I have to wonder what their outfits really looked like. Maybe they were, because they had to be something you could clean off, wipe off, and clean off easily. Because llamas spit, and with with the tapirs being hand cranked, they kind of do too. Sorry.
Okay.
God damn it, Aaron.
We'll move on.
Yeah.
That's the true meaning of the Great Spirit.
The coming of the Lord.
This is getting old.
Just a minute. You're getting it lucky. Peter's not, or excuse me, Jimmy's not here.
That's
How
true.
bad it would be if Jimmy was here.
Yeah,
you
you
have to
thought
add
you were
weather
gonna get off
forecasts in also.
Okay, I'll continue. I'll repeat this verse. And one of the king's servants said unto him, Rabbana, which is being interpreted powerful or great king, considering the kings to be powerful. And thus he said unto him, Rabbana, the king desireth thee to stay. Therefore Ammon turned himself unto the king and said unto him, What wilt thou that I should do for thee, O king? And the king answered him not for the space of an hour, according to their time.
He's just standing there for an hour, like, come on. Any minute now, you're going to answer, right?
He went NPC for a minute.
Yeah. For he knew not what he should say unto him. And it came to pass that Ammon said unto him again, What desirest thou of me? But the king answered him not. And it came to pass that Ammon, being filled with the Spirit of God, therefore he perceived the thoughts of the king. And he said unto him, Is it because thou hast heard that I defended thy servants and thy flocks, and slew 7 of the brethren with the sling and with the sword, and smote off the arms of others, in order to defend thy flocks and thy servants? Behold, is it this that causeth thy marvelings?
What a weird place to put behold in a sentence.
Let me remind everybody here too is that Ammon is doing a technique called cold reading. It's a magical technique.
Like, hey, why are you so amazed by my awesomeness?
I say unto you, what is it that thy marvelings are so great? Behold, I am a man, and am thy servant. Therefore, whatsoever thou desirest which is right, that I will do. Now when the king had heard these words, he marveled again, for he beheld that Ammon could discern his thoughts. But notwithstanding this, King Lamoni did open his mouth, and said unto him, Who art thou? Art thou that great spirit who knows all things? Ammon answered and said unto him, I am not. And the king said, How knowest thou the thoughts of my heart? Thou mayest speak boldly and tell me concerning these things, and also tell me by what power ye slew and smote off the arms of my brethren, and that scattered my flocks.
I gotta say, this is so different in Tomer's accent than what it would. It's probably a good thing that I'm not reading it, because Let me just try verse 17. I say unto you, what is it that thy marvelings are so great? Behold, I am a man.
Behold,
And
A
I am
macho,
thy
macho
servant.
man.
I'm a
Therefore,
man. Yes, I
whatsoever-
am, and I can.
whatsoever thou desirest, which is right, that I will do.
Giggity,
I mean,
giggity.
that's more accurate to some older Mormon propaganda as well as most of my homoerotic fantasies.
Nope. Okay.
Some of those
verse-
old records do sound more like that, though. This kind of God voice coming through the speakers. You know?
Yeah.
Behold. Yeah. Did you say the endowment videos? Because I think that's what I was thinking.
Oh,
of.
especially the endowment videos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Verse 21. And now, if thou wilt tell me concerning these things, whatsoever thou desirest, I will give unto thee. And if it were needed, I would guard thee with my armies. But I know that thou art more powerful than all they. Nevertheless, whatsoever thou desirest of me, I will grant it unto thee. Now Ammon, being wise yet harmless, he said unto
Harmless.
them-
Dude just murdered 7 people and cut off the arms of 30 more. Oh, no.
Details.
Doing harm of why?
Yeah. He said unto Lamoni, wilt thou hearken unto my words if I tell thee by what power I do these things? And this is the thing that I desire of thee. And the king answered him and said, Yeah, I will believe all thy
Yay.
words. And thus he was caught with guile. Okay. And
Yeah,
Ammon began.
Anytime I will believe all your words. So I'm interpreting this as I'll believe anything you tell me.
I like the. Y'all, did y'all see the Living Scriptures cartoon of this one?
No.
There's a part of it where so Ammon's come back with all the arms of the Lamanites that he dismembered, and he's put the bag. Basically, the scene changes to there's the bag at Lamoni's feet, and Lamoni just very casually goes, "Yes, these are arms." That's the line. That exact way. And then I didn't notice for years until I was older, until like I was watching that movie when I was a very young child. When I was older, I realized when you start to learn to look at other places in the scene instead of who just the active speaker is. So at like 12 or 13, I noticed that at one point the bag gets disheveled and there's actually a couple arms like slightly hanging out of the bag
whoa,
in this
like, ooh.
children's cartoon. Fucking wild stuff.
Well,
And
Eddie
and it's a
Gein.
little bit of disparity too, because some people were clearly denied their right to bear arms.
Right.
Oh no. Oh no.
Literally.
Okay, verse 24. And
I just
Ammon
hope that Zack Snyder directs the next scene of him cutting off those. What is it? 200 arms? Is it something like that? How many arms did Ammon take?
Does it even number them? I don't think it numbered them.
I thought it did.
Numbers them.
It's supposed to be a lot.
Yeah, like more arms.
It's a
than-
whole
than
bag full.
King David
Yeah.
collected
1,000
I
or
just wanna
2,000.
I just want to see in the style of the movie 300 Ammon pulling the shit off.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a mix up in the shipping or the instructions. The guy means to impress his enemies by dumping out this bag full of arms. Shit, I brought the foreskins.
Oh no.
Well, there's the whole foreskin means foot thing or whatever. Penis means foot.
How heavy is this bag he's hauling? That's as impressive as the cutting them all off.
He just strapped it to his tapirs.
Oh yeah, good point. His tapir drawn chariot.
Yeah.
Because
So
remember,
I get this image, that like you commonly see the old westerns, the natives would be along the mesa, and you would see all of them appear, and oh shit, there's a lot of them,
Oh yeah.
and then they would all charge down, right? Well, we got something like this, except that they're all with tapirs. So when they yell charge, they all start ambling.
I don't know. I don't actually know what verse we're on, but I know this is one of the
24.
first chapters. Okay, so it would have been earlier in the chapter. I bet I can find it quickly. Verse 10, where they mention Lamoni has
Horses and
chariots and
Yeah.
horses. Yeah.
Okay, I'll continue. And Ammon began to speak unto him with boldness, and said unto him, Believest thou that there is a God? And he answered and said unto him, I do not know what that meaneth. And then
Good
Ammon
answer.
said, yeah, and then Ammon said, believest thou that there is a great spirit? And he said, yeah. And Ammon said, this is God. And Ammon said unto him again, believest thou that this great spirit, who is God, created all things which are in heaven and in the earth? And he said, yeah, I believe that he created all things which are in the earth, but I do not know the heavens. Ammon said unto him, the heavens is a place where God dwells and all his holy angels. And King Lamoni said, is it above the earth? And Ammon said, yeah, and he looketh down upon all the children of men, and he knows all the thoughts and intents of the heart. For by his hand were they all created from the beginning. And King Lamoni said, I believe all these things which thou hast spoken.
Oh, he was easy.
Art thou sent from God? Ammon said unto him, I am a man. I'm a man. And man in the beginning
I
was
spelled
created
M-A-N.
And man in the beginning was created after the image of God. And I am called by his Holy Spirit to teach these things unto these people, that they may be brought to a knowledge of that which is just and true. And a portion of that Spirit dwelleth in me, which giveth me knowledge, and also power according to my faith and desires which are in God. Now when Ammon had said these words, he began at the creation of the world, and also the creation of Adam, and told him all the things concerning the fall of man, and rehearsed and laid before him the records and the holy scriptures of the people, which had been spoken by the prophets, even down to the time that their father Lehi left Jerusalem.
This king
I
has
gotta
a lot of
interject
free
just for a
time.
second. Yeah, just about King Lamoni, or whatever his name is. This could have been such a different story if he just didn't happen to be a believer. I mean, just imagine where this would have gone. Do you believe that there's a great spirit? What's a spirit?
And they think he's Ammon's the great spirit, and it's like, well, that's so weird.
I guess they're also writing this before Joseph has decided that God has a real flesh and blood penis, that he's actually got physical form. The spirit part's not as important.
Yeah. And he also rehearsed unto them, for it was unto the king and to his servants, all the journeyings of their fathers in the wilderness, and all their sufferings with hunger and thirst, and their travail, and so forth. And he also rehearsed unto them concerning the rebellions of Laman and Lemuel, and the sons of Ishmael. All the rebellions did he relate unto them, and he expounded unto them all the records and scriptures from the time that Lehi left Jerusalem down to the present time. But this is not all, for he expounded unto them the plan of redemption, which was
there's more.
Which was prepared from the foundation of the world. And he also made known unto them concerning the coming of Christ, and all the works of the Lord did he make known unto them.
So basically, the king just sat there while Ammon recited the entire Bible to him.
Yes.
It's 600 years before there was any sort of the concept of a Bible in anybody's mind. But no, the entire Bible, we're getting it parroted here.
And you thought the tapirs were the anachronism in the Book of Mormon.
I want an Ammon who goes to church and reads the Bible. That's a meme reference. Very few people will get it, but the people who do are really happy right now.
And it came to pass that after he had said all these things and expounded them to the king, that the king believed all his words. And he began to cry unto the Lord, saying, O Lord, have mercy, according to thy abundant mercy which thou hast had upon the people of Nephi. Have upon me and my people. And now when he had said this, he fell unto the earth as if he were dead.
There we go.
Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor.
It took too much again, man.
Yeah.
Should have stopped at 3 taps.
Sorry. And it came to pass that his servants took him and carried him in unto his wife, and laid him upon a bed. And he lay as if he were dead for the space of 2 days and 2 nights. And his wife and his sons and his daughters mourned over him, after the manner of the Lamanites, greatly lamenting his loss.
Lamenting Lamanites.
And
Lamenting the
Ammon,
Lamanites.
Ammon is the guy talking to the king, and the king is like, "Oh Lord!" He falls flat on his face. And for some reason, Ammon just gets to skate here. They don't immediately arrest him and be like, "What did you do to our king?"
Kept him sitting on the throne listening to his story for a fucking week straight.
That's what happened. Yeah, you know what? I have a similar reaction when people start talking the Bible to me. Just
It's true. It's the best way out of those conversations.
You don't have to lament the Lamanites, just laminate them.
okay.
We must preserve their culture with plastic.
Laminate the Lamanites.
That's bad.
And I have a couple more comments. It looks like, let's see, where is it? Claire offers $1.99. It says, "Can you all discuss the morality of dog breeding?" Sure. Is there any other off-topic things you'd like us to?
Would you like us to solve climate change again, real quick? Like,
and then Minute Rice.
You can adopt a pet. There are many pets that need adoption. That's all I'll say.
There you go.
Yeah. Minute Rice offers $6.66. It says, "It's 105 degrees in my town. How's your guys' weather?"
I'm so glad you asked.
Not this again.
It is currently 104 degrees where I live.
Yep.
I saw somebody in chat said it was 13°C, which is about 55 Fahrenheit in the Netherlands. That's my perfect temperature, but I am currently rocking a 104 that feels like 107, and my AC is unable to get lower than, and this is the real thing. I can see it over there. It's trying its best, but it cannot get me cooler than 69.
Well, it may be the perfect temperature for you, Jimmy, but
cool.
Buildings are collapsing here because of the rain that has come down. Not kidding.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Well, that's the rain, though. I'm just saying 55 is what I would keep my house at all year long. Cold months and hot months. I'd keep it at 55 if I could.
Mark Smith offers $2 and says, "Bushmills is the true Great Spirit."
You know, that person asked where all the weather was everywhere and paid to hear everybody's responses. I'm just saying.
Right. Well, somehow my dial says 95, which I have a little bit of difficulty believing because I've been out in my Jeep today, and yeah, it's hot.
I think I'm 114.
I see more comments.
I have 79 in freedom units.
Yeah, it's supposed to be 104 where you are right now. You live at 2121 Weatherton Boulevard, right?
In Tyler, Texas. That's right.
That's right. Okay, just double checking. I'm not very good at Kaiser Sozeing my stuff. We're talking about the weather, and I literally came up with the name Weatherton Boulevard. I'm not. It's not my best work. Bryce, how's the temperature there?
It's hot.
It's
85. Hot. It's hot. Muggy.
Oh, that sounds so nice though right now.
Trying to get to the next comment. John Klein gave $2 with no message, but Thomas Suchek, I just gonna butcher that, offers $9.99. It says, "Man, this is so worth it to catch live. Thank you," and I apologize for having no clue how to pronounce your name correctly.
Okay, Chatter 19. I can still read this if you want.
Only have one more.
All right, Skeptics and Scoundrels offers $2 and says 77 degrees here. Thoughts and prayers to you all. And we're just I think there's maybe we're just kind of teasing Tomer here just for the fun of it.
Yes, you are.
I like to think that I annoy a lot more people than just Tomer. Have you read the comments? I know you have. At this point, they don't realize I'm taking it as a challenge. The number of people who tell you to get rid of me, my God, I show up kookier than ever.
Well, we like you here. We just like to keep on subject to a certain point.
Well, we've all seen how hard they tried to fire you over on the line, and that didn't work. So why bother? You know.
Yeah, there's a petition, but
good episode today. I was
Thanks,
watching
man.
it.
Appreciate it.
Although you said that you pretend to be a Mormon.
I said I would pretend to be a Mormon for the sake of an argument that a Baptist called in trying to suggest the superiority of Baptism over others and that Baptism would be true. Oh, and they told me Baptism isn't a word, but whatever. They didn't. Matt told me that.
That was a fun little sidetrack.
It makes sense to me. Like I was gonna bring it back up later when I thought of like what my argument is, but if I had a person who's a Methodist and then like someone who just says Protestant and a Baptist and whatever, and if I was like, all right, so let's just go through. We have represented here Baptism, Methodistism, that's how Mormonism, whatever. That's how I would break it down. But I guess it should just be Protestant, even though by saying Baptism, you would be able to further specify the type of Protestant you mean.
Yeah, well, I think I prefer Bapticism to Methodicity.
Mm-hmm.
Tomer, why aren't you reading?
Yeah, why am I not reading?
Yeah,
We have another comment.
I'd love to know what was the series of events that led to the exclusive reader on this program is the Never.
Alma.
Yes.
It's the war chapters. We're just grinding to get through.
Yeah.
Then Claire offers $4.99 and says, "Guess I will derail the conversation with weather.
Oh no.
Only 87 fuck you and
Freedom
partly
units.
cloudy freedom units. Thank you. 87
Nice.
freedom units and partly cloudy in Kentucky. Don't know about traffic.
Y'all
Well,
call
the
it a
I-95
distraction.
is backed up all the way to 3.
Y'all call it a
No.
distraction. I call it paying Aaron's bills. You're welcome.
The first Kentucky
Don't
Fried
encourage
Chicken
me.
was in Salt Lake City. That's the truth.
Okay.
Dude.
I'll read this one.
Did you know that fortune cookies were invented in California?
I did know that.
Good. Good.
Okay, sorry.
Okay.
Waiting, Tomer.
Yeah,
I'd be
we
down
are
for
all
ano-
waiting for me.
In the meantime, what other Today I Learns do y'all got?
Let's
Okay.
let Tomer read, please.
Uh,
All right, super chat your TILs.
no. Okay. And it
Oh, you
Anything
missed
to pass
you missed
it
it,
after
Jimmy.
two.
But apparently, Native Americans ride tapirs. You missed
Arrived
that.
on tapirs. Is that what you said? You're breaking out real bad.
Yeah.
They ride
Okay, have a look there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's what you missed.
Yeah, that's right. I assume Bryce talked about
you
the
not-
absurdity of the Great Spirit part too, right?
Yeah,
Peter,
we had quite a
did
bit
you
of
get the
discussion
other
about it.
image.
yes.
No.
Did you get the other image that I put in the chat?
No. I'll check.
Also, in the Living Scriptures, when the people who are harassing the herds come running down from the mountains, they are fully doing the whoa, 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 whoa thing. That was in the cartoon also.
I had to look up a battle tapir, and they kind of cheated in the image. It's a fair illustration, but the rider is clearly half the size of a normal man
Oh,
at best. This guy's got to be 3 foot tall.
he's like a jockey, a horse jockey.
Yeah. Peter, can you
For-
put that
for-
other picture up?
For some reason, I can't get to that picture. I posted the link, but no picture.
Okay. All right. Well, never mind. Everybody can
doesn't
Google
wanna-
battle tapir.
Okay. Chapter 19. And it came to pass that after 2 days and 2 nights they were about to take his body and lay it in the sepulchre, which they had made for the purpose of burying their dead.
It's a good
Now the-
purpose for that.
Yeah. Now the
Sepulcher,
queen-
by the way.
Sepulcher. Never mind. I saw Merriam-Webster. It's sepulcher. I don't know.
No
English
one
is
can
mis-
pronounce that one.
Yeah, yeah.
Sepultura.
You're gonna trust a dude named Miriam? Okay.
It's not. Okay. Now the queen, having heard of the fame of Ammon, therefore she sent and desired that he should come in unto her. Oh, no.
My. It's only
No,
been
no.
a couple of days, lady.
Yes.
Cue the music.
I hope he
And it
wore an
came to-
anachronistic rubber.
Taper
You know they
shit.
had condoms back in the Book of Mormon times?
Because rubber grows on trees.
That's right. That's true.
No, they made him out of llama intestine.
Okay. And it came to pass that Ammon did
Sometimes
as
they
he
didn't
was
bother to remove
commanded.
the intestine.
Yeah, of course.
I'm saying
And
they
went
fucked the
in-
llamas.
and went
Just to be
in-
clear.
Yeah, and went in unto the queen and desired to know what she would that he should do. And she said unto him, the servants of my husband have made it known unto me that thou art a prophet of a holy God, and that thou hast power to do many mighty works in his name.
And also,
Therefore-
you killed him, motherfucker. You're going to jail.
Yes. If this is the case, I would that ye should go in and see my husband, for he has been laid upon his bed for the space of 2 days and 2 nights. And some
This
say,
is my favorite part of almost the entire book. The next sentence. Can I read this verse? Actually, I want this one. Hang on.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm gonna be did they name her? I just remember what she looked like in the.
No, she's just the queen. She's just Lamoni's queen.
Therefore, if this is the case, I would that ye go in and see my husband, for he has been laid upon his bed for the space of 2 days and 2 nights. And some say that he is not dead, but others say that he is dead, and that he stinketh, and that he ought to be placed in the sepulchre. But as for myself, to me he doth not stink.
I'm just adjusted to it,
I don't smell shit.
You
it
might
smells
wanna
like my
have a-
husband.
This is one of my favorite. Just, I beg you, he smells fine.
I don't smell anything. Have you taken a COVID test lately?
Yeah, no kidding.
Doesn't
That's actually
stink.
another prediction.
Anachronistic COVID in the Book of Mormon. I'm gonna write Jeremy and try and get it added to the CES letter.
Hell yeah.
Okay, verse 6. Now this was what Ammon desired, for he knew that King Lamoni was under the power of God. He knew that the dark veil of unbelief was being cast away from his mind.
And a
the
little bit of
light
Old
which-
Spice, right?
and the light which did light up his mind, which was the light of the glory of God, which was a marvelous light of his goodness. Dash. Yeah, this light has infused such joy into his soul, the cloud of darkness having been dispelled, and that the light of everlasting life was lit up in his soul. Yeah, he knew that this had overcome his natural frame, and he was carried away in God.
I want to point out one edit there. The old original handwritten text says that he was they dispelled, and the light of everlasting light was lit up in his soul. So they were like, yeah, that's using light 3 times in a sentence. That's a little redundant. Let's just replace this word that God authored into Joseph Smith's mind before he wrote it into the book.
I'm really getting blasted by the light of my LED lights right now.
So I have 3 lights. How many lights did you have?
I see 3.
No, 4.
As well.
There's
4 lights.
No, there's 4. Yeah, there's 4. It was the light of God, yea, the light had infused.
So the light and the glory of God, the light had infused, the light of everlasting light was lit up in his soul. So 4 lights in a lit.
I like how 500 years go by and God doesn't knock anybody out. And then he's like, I'm going to do it twice.
Yeah,
I'm going to hit this bitch Alma, and I'm going to hit this bitch Lamoni. Boom, boom.
Just wait.
Whoa, super effective. This did a lot. Entire groups of people converted to God, to whatever this religion's supposed to be, sort of kind of Judaism, kind of pre-Christianity, but something as stupid as Mormonism. But back then, it's super effective at doing that. Oh, and I don't know if it was in this, but in the Living Scriptures with the Alma story, Alma at some point does excommunicate Alma the Younger and says, you are removed from the records of the Church of Jesus Christ, but doesn't say of Latter-day Saints. So that's apparently the church, is the Church of Jesus Christ. He does it twice and it works super well. Doesn't do it for the first 500 years, and then twice does it great. And then he's like, you know what I'm going to do? Never that ever again. Just these 2 times in short proximity to each other. And then let's not knock anybody out ever again. Because this is it. It's just these 2 little, you have to assume that somebody told Joseph or somebody a story like this around the time he was writing it. He's like, oh, I'll put that in. And then he just forgot about it.
Or maybe it's part of this trend of trying to, model after the original Bible, where Yahweh or whoever will do a great miracle, and then we never see that particular magic trick ever again.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I was talking about the Pentecostal type influences. We need to keep going here. Keep on going.
You want me to go over the comments? Aren't you muted?
It's not like you to ask.
Yep, sorry. Mark Smith offers $2 and says, can't let Tomer get to reading just yet. And then Anthony Ray offers $20. Thank you. It says, love the show, R and Raw and group. Our Creed plug, Gin and Truth on YouTube. Blue Sky, anyone?
No Blue Sky yet for me.
I have it, but I've stopped using it since Threads came out.
But yeah, Uncle Bobby's cool.
Okay. And I haven't looked into it either. And then Bard's Trains offers $4.99. It says, hey guys, or hi guys, 69 in Flushing, Michigan. Question for Aaron. What's the best way to explain that humans are apes to an evolution denier? Have them Google the word hominoidea.
Nice.
And then Ellie offers $5 and says, watching Jimmy is a journey. You like him, then you hate him, then you tolerate him. Fuck you, Jimmy. And Bryce, you're amazing. And glad you're here, Tomer.
Funny you should mention that, Ellie, because I don't think anything about you at all. I can be mean too. Fuck you.
That's how you treat your viewers, man? What the hell?
She was pretty fucking mean. By the way, I don't give a fuck who's a viewer. I'm just a person, and so are they.
On the flip side, though, reference to you took up 60% of that super chat.
Yeah, and most of it about the bad parts.
Details.
50% of it was just shit.
No such thing as bad publicity.
Go with Christ, my friend.
Okay, verse 7. Therefore, what the queen desired of him was his only desire. Therefore, he went in to see the king according as the queen had desired him. And he saw the king, and he knew that he was not dead. And he said unto the queen, he is not dead, but he sleepeth in God. And
that
on the morrow,
timing. So, oh, sorry, never mind.
But he do stinketh. It's just unrelated.
and on the
magic
morrow,
tricks.
He's not dead. He's just asleep. Look, his body's laying comfortably over here. His head is very comfortable on the pillow over there.
He just needs true love's first kiss.
I just slipped him a Mickey that lasts for 2 days and 2 nights. That's all.
Yep.
And on the morrow he shall rise again. Therefore, bury him not. And Ammon said unto her, believest thou this? And she said unto him, I have had no witness save thy word, and the word of our servants. Nevertheless, I believe that it shall be according as thou hast said. And Ammon said unto her, blessed art thou because of thy exceeding faith. I say unto thee, woman, there has not been...
Know thy place.
Yes. So weird. There has not been such great faith among all the people of the Nephites. And it came to pass that she watched over the bed of her husband from that time even until that time on the morrow which Ammon had appointed that he should rise. And
So she, a Lamanite queen, has more faith than all of the Lamanites.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
all
it
the
came-
Nephites.
sorry.
That's crazy. All the Nephites. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yes. Yeah.
If he appointed a specific time, why did she wait the whole interval? Why not leave and come back at the right time? Maybe she has nothing to do either with the king
right. She's
incapacitated for days.
Right, she's a queen. Like she doesn't have shit else to do, right? What
Well,
other
it's
task
like
is
this.
she going to fill her day with?
There's the time that they're supposed to be there, and when you're anxious to go, you find out if she's ready. She says, "I'll be there in a minute, almost done." Still just wearing a towel, hasn't even dried her hair, or put on makeup yet. That's the way things are.
Woman.
Listen here, woman. Yeah. And it
then
came
I
to
got
pass.
another
Oh, sorry.
comment from. I'm sorry, I got another comment from Tomas Sucheki. Offers $9.99. It says, "Tomer, you are amazing. Aaron,
Thank you.
Tom works, but don't worry about the full name. Thank you.
Okay. And it came to pass that he arose according to the words of Ammon. And as he arose, he stretched forth his hand unto the woman and said, Blessed be the name of God, and blessed art thou.
No,
love
she's
how-
just the
and-
woman.
And blessed art thou was added later. So in the original one, he like rose up with his hands outstretched. Oh, blessed be God. And that was
Oh,
it.
you're
We're
still
done.
here.
We're all done
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Oh, you're
Oh,
here
that's-
as
So
well.
you mean
Oh,
this
that's
this
nice, honey.
line, and blessed art thou? This wasn't in part of the original document.
No,
This
that was
this
added
appeared
later.
So
Yep.
years, decades, something later.
Is it in the 1830 edition, Gazalem?
I'm trying to scan over. I've lost my place.
Okay.
It's verse 12.
Well, that's not helpful.
That's
not gonna help me.
No, it
I have that. Oh, the first blessed art thou is verse 10, though. Is it in that one? Right before
No.
he says, woman.
No, so
Oh,
that
yeah.
blessed art thou was there, right? But
Yeah, it's in verse
it's
10, yeah.
after he wakes up in verse 12 that and blessed art thou was added later.
Yeah,
Okay,
sorry, I
verse
can't
10
help
oh, sorry.
right now.
Okay.
Okay. For as sure as thou livest, behold, I have seen my Redeemer, and he shall come forth and be born of a woman, and he shall redeem all mankind who believe on his name. Now, when he had said these words,
impressed if he was born of a man.
Right? I was just like, oh, he's born of a woman. Okay, cool prophecy.
Yeah.
Super specific.
yes.
Oh, I've got one. It's born of a tapir.
Now, when he had said these words, his heart was swollen within him, and he sunk again with joy. And the queen also sunk down, being overpowered by the Spirit. Now Ammon, seeing the Spirit of the Lord poured out according to his prayers upon the Lamanites, his brethren, who had been the cause of so much mourning among the Nephites, or among all the people of God, because of their iniquities and their traditions. He fell upon his knees and began to pour out his soul in prayer and
And
thanksgiving
I have
to
and
God.
Ammon. Do you have that? And Ammon fell upon his knees and began.
No,
to pour out
just
his
he
soul
fell
for-
upon his knees.
Do you
I'm
have
sorry.
that, Bryce?
What verse? And
13.
Ammon,
14.
that was just removed. Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was
So how does God do these edits?
With his
By
the same
committee.
finger he uses for the
Well-
writing on stone.
A lot of
Yeah.
Mormons
God,
believe that there have been
whoever
zero
put up-
edits.
That,
I'm not kidding.
Yeah, that chunk there, the original text was the king is like, yeah, God is so awesome. Then Ammon was the one who went down on his knees instead of the king. That's very interesting.
Yeah, a lot of Mormons believe that there have been no edits and that Joseph Smith was illiterate because they like to steal the Muhammad story.
For what he had done for his brethren, and he was also overpowered with joy, and thus they all three had sunk to the earth.
Oh, they're vampires now.
To the
Sure, it's
hollow
like a
earth.
triangle formation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been in one of those.
Giggity.
Yeah.
Now when the servants of the king had seen that they had fallen, they also began to cry unto God, for the fear of the Lord had come upon them also. For it was they who had stood before the king and testified unto him concerning the great power of Ammon.
So they're
And it came-
overwhelmed with joy and glory and love and fear.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, and to Jimmy's point as well, God just now struck a kingdom for 3 days and suddenly has an entire like kingship worth of converts to like the true church now. Like, just do it again, man.
Yeah.
Do this literally anytime, anywhere else. Like, strike Aaron dumb for 3 days and have him make a miraculous conversion from atheism to Mormonism, and you'll convert a whole bunch of people. It'd be great. Like,
How many people-
Why
is
can't
it-
this be done again?
Is the final battle of the Book of Mormon 4 million people? What? How many millions is it?
Something like that. Yeah.
Just knock out one dude, dickbag. Like, what- you
Yeah,
gotta-
I wish that that God would like reveal Himself to me, and that I can have this religion. I wish that could happen, because in my situation, if I were to suddenly find Jesus, I would suddenly find myself living in a $7 million mansion within a month.
Yeah, I've often mentioned,
Hallelujah.
I've often mentioned if suddenly I disappear and then I come back working for the Daily Wire, assume I was really broke. assume I really needed the money.
Fucking hell.
Okay, verse 16.
Wait,
And it
real
came
quick,
to-
I just
oh,
noticed,
sorry.
Bryce, did you break into one of the? You look like the room. So you know those the stake buildings that have where the hallway goes all the way around.
Yeah,
You look like the room we used to prepare the sacrament in. How'd you break in?
Yeah, broadcasting from Stowaway Studios in the regional center.
Inside one of the Mormon churches. Man, I really want
Behind
one,
enemy
but
lines.
did you all know that now when they sell the churches, they make it contingent on that you basically say you'll knock it down?
The steeple too. You have knocked the steeple down.
I think it might even be the whole. All I know is I was looking into it a while back, thinking like the best thing that would ever happen would be that we could put our facility, the community center, in an old Mormon church, and apparently you can't get away with it without knocking the building down anymore.
Yeah, I wish somebody would just like. I know somebody, an atheist, who owns at least one church in Scotland, and I think it's interesting. He's making money off of this religion that that the faith is paying him the rent, which it's just funny that way. But I wish somebody would conjure a church of some capacity that we could use here.
Fuck yeah.
I mean, yeah, somebody called me yesterday and said, "Hey, you know what you should do? You should move into a church." Well, yeah, I
no
never thought of
shit.
that.
Right. Dude, the
who
speed at which
hasn't?
that baptismal font would get jets.
Y'all should come up here. We got all kinds of empty, abandoned, for sale churches. There's a community theater company in Cortland, the next city down from Syracuse. They're in a church. Hilarious. The first time I ever went there, it was to see I forget the play, but it was one of those LGBT things. Like all the cast were some version of queer, and it was on the posters as such. That's how it was promoted. And I arrive at the venue, and it's a fucking church. I'm like, oh, we're rubbing it in, are we?
Yeah.
Universalist Unitarians in Cheyenne, at least last time I was there, were operating
right
out of
away.
an old Mormon church, but I think that's from decades back.
Yeah, in
Right
Utah
away,
we have
mine would be
historical.
mine
Mormon
would be
churches.
black and silver, and the inside would be all red Gothic wallpaper.
Meanwhile, the one that you probably can buy, Kingdom Halls from the Jehovah's Witnesses, nobody fucking wants those. Those garbage heaps made on their fucking
They're pretty bad.
compelled
Some.
labor from their congregation. Fuck them and those buildings.
Built
Garbage.
by 60 farmers in a day.
You're
Top
thinking
quality.
of the Amish, I think, but
Yeah, that's the Midians or the Amish.
Jehovah's Witnesses will famously get their congregation to donate everything, including the labor. They'll build a new Kingdom Hall and then sell the old Kingdom Hall, and that's basically their financial model.
Mhm.
How to
We
stay
got a couple
afloat.
more comments. Skeptical Brain says the queen is just the woman.
Yes.
She's the woman.
Yeah.
Woman. Woman.
Congratulations, Yahweh has come to town. This is how it'll be. You used to be the queen, now you're woman. This is life in the true church.
More anachronisms. There's just a Doja Cat song straight in the Book of Mormon.
But
And then
she's the
Cauldron.
most faithful.
Let me be your woman.
Cauldron offers $2 and says after a 2-day coma, he'd have messed the bed. Pew.
And it was an aroma pleasing to the Lord.
Yeah. He
That-
did not stink, though. He did not stink.
That
You
was
want
the
to experience
miracle.
an aroma pleasing to the Lord? Pull my finger.
That was why all of the people converted. They were like, nah, this is bullshit. By the way, King Lamoni didn't poop himself. Praise to the Great Spirit.
Yeah.
It's a miracle.
Verse 16. And it came to pass that they did call on the name of the Lord in their might, even until they had all fallen to the earth, save it were one of the Lamanitish women whose name was
Hey. Lamanite-ish. Lamanite-ish woman.
Excuse me.
But
who's the
baptism is
one who
so
knows
fucked up.
affirmation?
Yes.
Let's make that clear.
Joseph Smith
Lamanitish
gets to
woman.
say Lamanitish, but I can't say baptism. Go. Fuck me.
She having been converted unto the Lord for many years on account of
Okay,
the remarkable
but-
vision of her father.
So hold on,
Let
we
him
gotta
finish the verse at least.
I finished
but
the
I
verse.
don't.
No, you still
I
have
don't
to say
have-
one thing.
Yeah, I know.
I
but
don't
I'm
have
waiting for the-
verses. I don't have verses or anything, so I don't know. I just as soon as I see a period.
Gazalem
But-
doesn't even
okay.
have spaces. It's just all characters. Gazalem's
It-
version is written in Morse code. What do you fucking want from him?
This is just all extremely important, this whole verse here, because what we have is a Lamanitish woman. Her name is Abish.
Yeah, what a bish.
So there's probably maybe 8
Her name
women.
is Abish.
Abish. There's probably 8 women named in the Book of Mormon, 2 of them being Eve and Mary. So this is very unique. We have a Lamanitish woman named Abish.
She's
Okay.
a bish. She's a
By the
lovely.
way,
She's a
pronounce-
queen. She's a woman.
Pronounced by Mormons as a bish. I know you're saying a bish. Pronounced as a bish, which my theory
So I was
is,
right.
Gazela, my theory is Emma overheard Joseph call her a bitch. And
He's
he was
like, "You bitch."
No. A bish is this new character that I've been making up. I mean, was revealed because I got the hat rock over in the other room. And I was saying, you're such a bish, which is like a really good thing in this case. That's what it was.
I would say
But
that
I
like
just didn't want to go past that so fast because there's like some really crazy stuff right here.
Yeah, I'm
I did-
surprised.
Sorry.
Did he ask or did she just volunteer her name? Because I have a feeling he didn't ask.
I did find some like rabbis that have like a middle name that is Avish, but it's a middle name.
Also, the story itself isn't without being fucking weird too. That specifically, she was already secretly a member of the Church of Jesus Christ
Yeah.
because her father had a remarkable vision, and they don't talk about it. What
No, we
the
don't.
fuck
We don't
was
need
that
that
vision?
information.
Jesus
It was probably in the
Christ, that's huge.
116 lost pages or something.
Yeah, yeah.
But
He actually
but-
lost another 116 pages, but not because he was tricked, just the old-fashioned way. Left
But
them on the bus.
Tomer, start back up at she having been converted because there's a crazy thing in the sentence that I want to make sure is in.
Okay.
see what
She
comes up.
having been converted unto the Lord for many years on account of
Okay.
a remarkable.
Sorry. So mine says yars.
Yar. Avast ye bishes.
So this bitch was also a
Many
pirate.
yars.
Fly her from the yard arm.
I really want to know I want to know the other 6 women's name. I'm a bitch. This is this bitch.
The bish and the yars.
I forgot.
That's that bitch.
I forgot the last part of this verse. Dash.
There it
Oh, yeah.
is.
Right, that's-
All right, hold on. I got a couple of comments to get
Okay.
to.
Sorry
and
about
it
that,
also
man.
says
Homer.
fathers. Hang on. So the original also says vision of her fathers, whereas the S was edited out as well.
Oh,
So
so
she had
father.
two
dads.
So she had two
totally
dads.
different meaning. Yeah.
Who's her daddy?
So
Or
mine
or-
is singular, so that's
Yours
crazy.
is, so
Fathers
yours
would've-
yours is singular, but mine also reads years, not yars. So that's a misprint in your facsimile copy. That was
Yeah, I wish
probably
I could get this up
that's
here.
probably consistent with a misprint in the original 1830 edition, but in my original manuscript / printer's
I don't know if
manuscript of
that's
it, they
gonna
wrote
work.
years, but they also wrote fathers.
fathers is I get what you're saying, 2 dads. The joke's funny, but now I want to know which one was intentional because vision of fathers would mean ancestors more, like
Yes.
passed
Yeah,
down
yeah.
grandpa to dad to whatever.
Yeah.
But it says her father, her fathers. Yeah, that's weird.
We literally don't know if it's a typo or if they just didn't want to defend Joseph's choice of words.
Yeah.
This is going to be a lot easier if we just we're not even going to tell the story anyway, so why don't we just, I don't know why they're consulting Alex Jones on this, but why don't we just forget it?
All right, so I'm going to read a couple more comments and catch up here. The Lucky Legume offers $50. Thank you very much. It says, I am a young Earth creationist who has started to deconvert. What advice would you give someone who is starting to figure life out and trying to get past a lifetime of indoctrination and fear of hell? Thanks for the videos. You've already been a big help.
Pace yourself with the porn. You don't need to watch all of it. It's going to be very exciting.
It'll wait.
You need to have somewhere to go with it. Okay.
Yeah.
You don't want to run out.
Well, I'm going to suspect that one of the first problems is going to be, some human compassion and community. So there are, I mean, like where I live, there's like a couple of dozen different free thought groups all in a coalition, the Dallas-Fort Worth Coalition of Reason. And there are local groups that you could probably connect to. And even if it's not a physical group, of course, there's all kinds of online communities. I would be happy to schedule a time that we can chat, just like in a private hangout or whatever, but I can only give you like an hour tops. So there are other people that provide community for this sort of thing. And I can't remember any of the names off the top of my head. Maybe the other people can chime in.
Recovering from Religion is a great resource.
Yes. Yes, thank you.
That was going to be my serious answer. Go to recoveringfromreligion.org, sign up for some of their community Zoom events, and start building a new community, as well as explore whether or not you need some therapy, and they can hook you up with a secular therapist. Then pace yourself with the porn.
Yeah. as far as the fear of hell, I've run into that with a number of people. I found there's several people on the atheosphere of the internet who say this, but it's true. If you think back to when you were a believer, you weren't really, you didn't have any particular fear of Islamic hell or Hindu hell or Taoist hell, if there is such a thing, because you didn't believe in those things. So now that you're starting to not believe in young Earth creationism, just think of it the same as those other hells that you didn't believe in, because you have exactly the same reason to believe in any of them.
Except spooky Mormon hell. Spooky Mormon hell with the dancing coffee cups. That one's real.
There's an exercise for that I actually came up with because I'm a prolific genius. But anyway, you would start. I'm
a very stable genius.
I'm trying to start the opposite way Ember said, where you were all humble. Like lots of people say this. Only I say this, but it's the right answer. Anyway, there's this cognitive behavioral therapy exercise I came up with, and it's based in the concept of thought completion, where when you address that you have those feelings, you need to articulate in your mind what the feeling is, and then start working through completing the thought. So you go, I'm feeling right now that because of I did this, I'm feeling guilty, and I'm feeling guilty, which makes me afraid that I'm going because of what I'm feeling guilty because it's a sin, and it's a sin, and therefore I'm afraid I'm going to go to hell. And then you take each piece and you just keep talking about each piece. So I'm afraid I'm going to hell because I was raised a Christian, and I was raised a Christian who believed that hell was this, and that comes from this, and that comes from this. And you literally fully explain it to yourself until you're recognizing that the words you're saying are clearly counter to the things you actually believe. And as you do that exercise, you'll find that usually early on the exercise is longer, and then it gets shorter and shorter, and you start doing the exercise less and less until eventually you might feel a twinge, and all you have to say to yourself is, oh, I felt that little bit of twinge of fear of hell just there, and that's really fucking stupid, and then it's gone.
I was lucky that I had to reject hell as the first theological concept that I just had to get rid of altogether was the notion of hell, that hell was inconsistent with God. That any God worth worshiping would not allow hell to exist, much less create it. But so I was fortunate, but my wife was raised like part Protestant, part Catholic, and she, both sides of the family telling her that the other side of the family is going to go to hell, and she's constantly visited by the whole hell thing. So when she came into atheism, walked away from both of these religions or both of these denominations, she was plagued with nightmares of hell for years. And I felt for her, but the conditioning was so deep and so pervasive that it took her years to get past it.
Yeah.
All right, I got a couple more comments I'm going to read here. And that is Tom offers $4.99. It says, R.N. Ra can start his own satanic temple. I bet he has enough people, and I doubt he would mind the psychomp people. I got to confess, I don't know what psychomp means.
Science comprehension? Wait. Oh, Psi PSY. I don't know. He would mind the Psi people.
I feel like I'm supposed to get that. For whatever reason, it's just not making the connection. Will you quit biting me? I'm on the show. Stop that. Okay.
No.
Claire offers $4.99. It says, Jimmy, when you said not to use your real name online, they open it. Jimmy, when you said not to use your real name online, did you mean last name or first and last? I'm thinking of joining Twitter.
You are all welcome to use the name Jimmy Snow. I'm not on Twitter, but I prefer if people ignore resist using my real name, which is Xander Crookshanks.
And then Skeptical Brain says, Yars might be written in Appalachian accent, which the original Book of Mormon was written in. Okay, somebody give me an example. Read the next verse in an Appalachian accent. I want to hear this.
I don't know Appalachian.
Does anyone know?
It's basically like modern Bostonian hick.
What
well, let's hear it, Bryce.
I mean, I don't have a good command of it. There's one scholar that has basically mastered it and needed a presentation at Sunstone of dictating the Book of Mormon in 19th century Appalachian, and it was fascinating. But it's cool. I mean, what verse are we on? I can give it a shot. 17. I can try and mimic it. 17. It's I'm trying to recall this from memory, but thus having been converted to the Lord and never having made it known, therefore, when she saw all the servants of Lamoni had fallen to the earth, and that also her mistress, the queen, and the king, and Ammon, mistress, yeah, we got a mistress there.
So we're doing Ted Kennedy?
Yeah, pretty much.
And also her mistress, the queen, and the king, and Ammon lay prostrate. Is that pretty good?
You gotta draw it. There needs to be more sounds
prostrate,
to it. Prostrate it.
Prostrate
so it's
upon.
interesting that Abish and the mistress is the mistress and lover of the queen. Ooh, hubba hubba hubba.
Oh, all right.
Okay, I'll continue from.
I was gonna do scratchy Bostonian, like thus haven't been converted to the Lord, and they ever haven't made it known. Therefore, when she saw that all the servants of Lamoni had fallen to the earth, that was my best.
You're in the ballpark.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll continue from the second part. And
for whatever reason, the accent that went into my was like that Pepperidge Farm. Remember that guy?
That's having been converted to the Lord,
to the yard.
And never having made it known. Therefore, Book of Mormon remembers when she saw that all the servants of Lamoni had fallen to the earth, and also her mistress. It's fucking boring as fucking that voice. Remember. Cutting off arms with your buddies, passing out with your buddies,
waking up and missing your foreskin.
Remember that time you woke up
out kings.
Remember that time you woke up after 2 days and you didn't even stink a poo yourself. Book of Mormon remembers.
Oh. Okay, from the second part of this verse. And supposing that this opportunity, by making known unto the people what had happened among them, that by beholding this scene it would cause them to believe in the power of God. Therefore, she ran forth from house to house, making it known unto the people. And they began to assemble themselves together unto the house of the king. And there came a multitude, and to their astonishment they beheld the king and the queen and their servants prostrate upon the earth. And they all lay there as though they were dead. And they also saw Ammon, and behold, he was a Nephite.
Why did they? I liked above. I think we skipped it where it said, "The queen, the king, and Ammon lay prostrate upon the earth," and then everybody came to look at them looking prostrate, which I guess means they were doing a prostrate exam.
And
so
now
laying down.
It's just training for how to wind up the tape.
Hey, he still coughed.
and now the people began to murmur among themselves, some saying that it was a great evil that had come upon them, or upon the king and his house, because he had suffered that the Nephite should remain in the land. But others rebuked him. Rebuked
Rebuke!
them, saying, yeah.
We also skipped why they knew Ammon was a Nephite, but okay, go on.
It was the tattoo. On
One of
his
these is not like the other.
Why are they knocked out with this white guy?
Yeah, hang on. There's a dead white guy among all of these dead black people. Something is wrong.
Check his pockets for cocaine.
Yeah, the king
Where's
had brought
Waldo?
this. Sorry, the king had brought this evil upon his house because he slew his servants who had had their flocks scattered at the waters of Sebus. And they were also rebuked by those men who had stood at the waters of Sebus and scattered the flocks which belonged to the king. For they were angry with Ammon because of the number which he had slain of their brethren at the waters of Sebus, while defending the flocks of the king. Now, one of them, whose brother had been slain with the sword of Ammon, being exceedingly angry with Ammon, drew his sword and went forth that he might let it fall upon Ammon to slay him. And
It's an
as he
automatic
lift-
critical hit. When somebody's unconscious and you roll an attack on them, yeah, automatic crit.
I mean, fair enough. He didn't just, it just says that he was mad because he slayed his brother. He didn't slay his brother. He humiliated his brother to death. He took both his arms, let him just wiggle around there until he died.
It's just a flesh wound.
And I also do love how when we were going through the story of Ammon cutting off all the arms, it said explicitly he only killed people with the sling. All others he hit with the sword, they survived. He only cut off arms with the sword. And here it's like, no, this one guy was really pissed because Ammon slew him with the sword.
Fucking, I guess the rest were running around looking like tall minions. Wearing overalls.
Freaking banana people.
In pajamas.
No more t-shirts for them. No.
But if you cut off both arms, what holds the overalls up?
Right?
I like the name of these waters, Sibusi. Take a bish down to Sibusi.
Oh no. And okay,
Get
verse
her
22.
flax scattered.
And as he lifted the sword to smite him, behold, he fell dead. Now we see
You got 3 knocked out fuckers there. Why's he gotta die? Just knock him out. He can come back also. Now you'd have 4 knocked out guys. Even better.
This motherfucker literally has plot armor.
yes.
Just,
Can't touch
Now
him.
now we see that Ammon could not be slain, for the Lord had said unto Mosiah his father, I will spare him, and it shall be unto him according to thy faith. Dash.
well, one hardly establishes a pattern. How are they positive? It
I
can't
mean,
have
Matt,
just more than one person had to have tested this out.
Oh, no, hold up. This is the second time because he walked out of a prison that was falling down all around him,
Oh, right.
totally unscathed, after all of his people had been murdered by fire.
Right.
And he just sat there watching like, wow, I'm glad it's not me. Fuck.
Are we sure this guy isn't Jesus? Because these party
Way
tricks
cooler.
are sounding better than Jesus's.
Yeah.
I mean,
way-
Lamoni thought that he was the Great Spirit. He's like,
He
no,
did think he was
I'm not
the
that
Great
awesome.
Spirit.
I'm pretty cool, but I'm just Neo. You're looking for the woman with the visions.
Therefore, Mosiah trusted him unto the Lord. And it came to pass that when the multitude beheld that the man had fallen dead, who lifted the sword to slay Ammon, fear came upon them all, and they durst not put forth their hands to touch him or any of those who had fallen. And they began to marvel again among themselves what could be the cause of this great power, or what all these things could mean. And it came to pass that there were many among them who said that Ammon was the Great Spirit, and others said he was sent by the Great Spirit.
That was a
Others-
later edition. That was, yeah, the original just ends there that Ammon was the Great Spirit, and then it goes to the next line. Yeah, it was a later edition, and others said he was sent. by
That
the Great Spirit.
explains why there's a semicolon there.
Ah,
Because Joseph didn't know how to use semicolons.
Bingo.
clearly.
But others rebuked them all, saying that he was a monster.
Yeah.
And-
You're a monster.
Everybody
Yeah.
knows I'm a motherfucking monster.
who had been
I feel like a monster.
who had been sent from the Nephites to torment them. And there were some who said that Ammon was sent by the Great Spirit to afflict them because of their iniquities, and that it was the Great Spirit that had always attended the Nephites, who had ever delivered them out of their hands. And they said that it was this Great Spirit who had destroyed so many of their brethren, the Lamanites.
It's also
And
worth
thus-
noting how much it undermines the realism of the Book of Mormon, that the bad guys in the Book of Mormon always know that they're bad guys. They always know that they're committing iniquities, that they're the sinners.
they
and stuff,
admit
that yeah. They
admit
always
to it.
it's the old like further back in comic books where Lex Luthor is just like, and yes, I have to do this because I do evil. That's what I enjoy. Fun. Let's commit crimes today. Doesn't matter the crime as long as it's a crime. That was me.
All right, well,
playing a
let
cat.
me say that then. Yes, Mr. Bond.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. We gotta make
Claire
more
offers
crimes happen.
Claire offers $1.99 and says, "I meant my own real name." And then Claire says again for another $1.99 says, "Is it unsafe to call myself Claire online?"
First, I mean, soon
Your
enough,
second token.
everything is unsafe. Like AI is gonna reveal all of our identities to everybody and our credit scores and probably every text message we ever sent. So, whatever. We're all fucked. Now
Okay.
I'm going to the bathroom.
John Klein offers $5 and says, "I feel like the next episode of Joseph Smith should be in the form of a musical."
Oh, you don't want to see that.
Star Trek pulled it off. Did Star Trek do a musical?
Yes,
What?
they did a Christmas musical that absolutely
That's
failed.
Star Wars.
No,
That was
oh,
Star Wars.
that's Star Wars. Star Trek. I don't know. I'm not familiar with Star Trek. Sorry,
Yeah.
Sounds like
I'm just familiar with the Star
sounds like
Wars
something
thing.
they might do.
But
Yeah.
the Christmas special Star Wars wasn't a musical though.
No, it
It
wasn't.
had musical parts in it.
Yeah.
Little weird.
And then
also a
Virtuoso,
lot
Star
of
Trek
extra
Voyager,
Islanders.
Season 6, Episode 13.
There you go.
Okay. And then Tom offers $4.99 and says, "My bad, meant psychodrama, not psychopomp, i.e., magic rituals, as personal psychological techniques."
Mm.
Yeah. Satanic Temple. I mean, I participate. Well, didn't participate, but I did an event with Satanic Temple in Seattle, and they had like kind of the like self-helping like psychodrama techniques that they were using, magic rituals. And it's
When
like,
was
all right,
that?
That's cool. 2016, I think it was.
Oh, okay. Because I was just in Olympia for a group thing that was done by House of Heretics and also Satanic Idaho, so two different Satanist groups.
Very cool. Yeah.
Okay, verse 28. And thus the contention began to be exceedingly sharp among them. And while they were thus contending, the woman servant who had caused the multitude to be gathered together came. Really? And when she saw the contention,
And then after a cigarette, she
and when she saw the contention which was among the multitude, she was exceedingly sorrowful, even unto tears. And it came to pass that she went and took the queen by the hand, that perhaps she might raise her from the ground. And as soon as she touched her hand, she arose and stood upon her feet, and cried with a loud voice, saying, "Oh, blessed Jesus, who has saved me from an awful hell! Oh, blessed God, have mercy on these people!" And when she had said this,
One of the very few spoken lines by a woman in this book, and it's Abish that talks it.
and when she had said this, she clasped her hands, being filled with joy, speaking many words which were not understood.
There you
And when
go.
she had done
Glossolalia
this-
in the Book of Mormon.
Glossolalia, speaking
Yeah.
in tongues.
And when she had done this, she took the king, Lamoni, in case you didn't know, by the hand, and behold, he arose and stood upon his feet. And he immediately...
That is, hey, whoa, that's a woman exercising the healing
I
power of the
know, this is-
priesthood. Yeah, this is a
Yeah.
spicy chapter.
Yeah.
So for all those like women in the priesthood crowd and stuff, hey Mormons, women have priesthood. Big
There it is.
surprise.
From the Book of Mormon itself.
and
yeah,
he
and not only do they have not only that, but did I just hear this right? That the queen came, where the woman came and then grabbed the queen by the hand and went someplace else? Or did I just fill that in with my
Yeah,
own
well,
knowledge?
that's her mistress. That's her mistress.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
And
the first
he-
person she went to and resurrected from her slumber or whatever.
And he, immediately seeing the contention among his people, went forth and began to rebuke them, and to teach them the words which he had heard from the mouth of Ammon. And as many as heard his words believed, and were converted unto the Lord. But there were many among them who would not hear his words. Therefore, they went their way.
I love that. This woman runs out. Oh, the king and the queen and servants, they're all dead. Come look and see. And everybody rushes in and they see the scene of a whole bunch of royalty dead and then one white guy dead among them. And they all lose their fucking minds for a minute. And then they all stand up and they're like, yeah, whatever they have to say. Yeah, fuck that. I'm out. I got some llamas to shear.
Big deal. I've already seen the episode with the red wedding.
Holy shit. God.
And it came to pass that when Ammon arose, he also administered unto them, and also did all the servants of Lamoni. And they did all declare unto the people the selfsame thing. Dash! That their hearts had been changed, that they had no more desire to do evil. And behold, many did declare unto the people that they had seen angels and had conversed with them. And thus they had told them things of God and of his righteousness. And it came to pass that there were many that did believe in their words, and as many as did believe they were baptized. And they became a righteous people, and they did establish a church among them. And thus the work of the Lord did commence among the Lamanites. Thus the Lord did begin to pour out his Spirit upon them. And we see that his arm is extended to all people who will repent and believe on his name.
The whole Pentecostal thing, this really shows the flavor and zeitgeist of his time period, where he's at and everything, and it's bleeding right into this book. We're seeing how the Book of Mormon is created right in front of our eyes.
And to point that out even further, right, because this is a larger point to get to, that so much of what we just read in that passage is very antithetical to anything Mormon. Is like the speaking in tongues. Mormons do not do that. Their form of speaking in tongues now is like, oh, you were a missionary who had to learn a language really fast, and you learned
that's
it
their
super
version
fast.
now.
That's their speaking in tongues.
But let's take note that Brigham Young did speak in tongues, and Joseph Smith was discouraging it, but once he heard Brigham Young speaking in tongues, they started to allow it again. But there are moments in early Mormonism where glossolalia does happen.
There's also multiple stories of quote unquote speaking in tongues where it's a prophet is speaking to a congregation in his native language, or somebody is, and they're hearing it in their native language.
Yeah.
That's what I always understood happening. Tongues was supposed to be, was you just understand, not no one understands.
That was the one I grew up with, and then I became aware that the gift of tongues was being added to patriarchal blessings in the missionary sense that Bryce was talking about, that if you are faithful, you will find that you're able to pick up other languages quickly.
And other stories are like when a missionary will like give a priesthood blessing to somebody in the language that they learned to go on their mission, and they speak it in like perfect dialect and perfect inflection and everything, and the people are just so amazed. Or there's somebody that I'm familiar with who during their mission gave a priesthood blessing to somebody, and after they were done with the blessing, the person said, wow, you sounded just like my father, and that was not the person's native language. So like, yeah, I mean, there's a ton of like stories of speaking in tongues or the gift of tongues, but in early Mormonism, it was very much Pentecostal speaking in tongues, the glossolalia, the speaking a string of nonsense, and then somebody has to translate it. And Gazelem, you're right. When Joe started the church, he did not like glossolalia, but Brigham Young did it in one of the early meetings when Brigham Young first joined the church. And Joseph was like, hey, that guy's doing something cool. Let's all do that. And then speaking in tongues became quite popular. There you go.
Which I mean if Joseph was impressed, it means that he saw that the audience was hanging on to every
That's right.
Fake word, yeah.
Yep.
Well, the account I remember is that everybody's like gasps, and it's kind of like, and so Joseph Smith gets up to the pulpit and he says, "You know, Brother Brigham was speaking in the true Adamic language." And
Weird. It doesn't follow any language structure, but okay.
Can we read a translation guide for that? Since he knows the language, surely he can teach the rest of us, right?
No, there's not going to be any guide. What do you think? Like, people are going to start discovering Rosetta Stones and shit? Oh,
Just a quick.
I think there were people translating it. I mean, interpreting it and stuff.
Yeah.
It's weird.
A quick interjection. I will go into read chapter 20.
It's a long one.
I'm seeing something. It's 30 verses.
Yeah, but it does. I mean, so the end of this chapter goes on to like a new story, like a new like nested story within
It
this
goes on
story.
a new mission.
So yeah, I mean, like the next chapter is pretty interesting too.
Next one's a little bit. What's the dun 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 Mission Impossible-esque. Dun 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 dun. Ammon's going on a rescue mission.
Yeah.
All right, so are we gonna save 20? Because
I say we burn through 20.
okay,
I can
Start
read.
21 next time.
Right.
I don't. Okay. I think we would say more and share more than 23 minutes worth if we did wait. But if y'all want to blow through, blow through.
Bryce, your call.
Well, I mean,
We're in charge here.
The next chapter begins a new story. If we finish this chapter, then it ends the current story with Ammon that we're on right now. So I say we burn through it.
So I think that
conclude
Madonna is in chapter 20 and 21 and going further.
But if you look at the top of chapter 21, it says an account of preaching of Aaron and Molokai. So that's what I think we should finish the Ammon story and then go to the next missionaries.
Okay.
Because we're gonna meet Lamoni's dad, who's a piece of shit.
Yeah, it's Lamoni. Fix your pronunciation.
yes.
And then Madani.
Lamoni.
Do you want me to read?
Yes.
Okay.
No,
And it
I
came
want to read.
Okay.
Tomer was barely asking. He just
Yeah,
wanted
of
to
course.
get started.
I was
please,
asking.
Tomer.
Okay.
Please,
thank you.
Tomer, go ahead and do it.
Okay. And it came to pass that when they had established a church in that land, that King Lamoni desired that Ammon should go with him to the land of Nephi, that he might show him unto his father.
Look what I did! I almost killed the king. Proud of me,
And
Dad.
And the voice of the Lord came to Ammon, saying, Thou shalt not go up to the land of Nephi, for behold, the king will seek thy life. But thou shalt go to the land of Midoni, for behold, thy brother Aaron, okay, and also Muloki and Alma are in prison.
Maloki.
Muloki. Okay.
I like that Ammon's dad had the foresight to name his other kid Amma. Ammon and Amma. It's not going to ever get confusing.
Ammon, Amma, and Maloki.
Maloki.
My brother Daryl and my other brother Daryl.
See
Now we
Maloki
can-
catching
sorry.
on. What up, Maloki?
Now it came to pass that when Ammon had heard this, he said unto Lamoni, Behold, my brother and brethren are in prison at Midoni, and I go that I may deliver them. Now Lamoni said unto
Prison
Ammon,
break! Yes.
Let's go break the law.
I,
Oh, man, I
I
expected you to read while I was doing background music.
maybe I don't know if that'll actually work because of interference. Okay, I know in the strength of the Lord thou canst do all things. But behold, I will go
Teasing
with
is
thee.
fine. You're getting into antagonation.
Yeah. But behold, I will go with thee to the land of Midoni, for the king of the land of Midoni, whose name is Antiomno. Antiomno. Okay.
Antiomno, played by Antonio
We're going to
Banderas.
Sicily.
It was a very popular frozen pizza in Joseph's day.
There's a very lovely land here. It'd be a real shame
Yeah.
if something were to happen to it.
Yeah.
Is a friend unto me. Therefore, I go to the land of Midoni, that I may flatter the king of the land, and he will cast thy brethren out of prison.
Kings are like tapirs. You know, if you're gonna work with them, you got to butter them up first.
Yeah, he's gonna
Rub-
flatter
rub 'em
You
the
gotta
right
red
way.
rocket them.
Gotta ride me
Oh,
the right
King-
way, baby.
King Madonna, is that an arm in your bag, or are you just happy to see me,
Let me polish your scepter, sire.
bro?
Now Lamoni said unto him, Who told thee that thy brethren were in prison? That thy brethren were in prison? And Ammon said unto him, No one hath told me, save it be God. And he
Yep,
said
no
unto
one.
me,
God is no one.
yeah, dash. Go and deliver thy brethren, for they are in prison in the land of Midoni. Now when Lamoni had heard that, now when Lamoni had heard this, he caused that his servants should make ready his horses and his chariots, aka tapirs.
Nice.
And he said unto
Guys, I actually, I don't want to just interrupt this to brag, but I'm actually hung like a tapir.
Good.
So
And he
everyone
said
Take your
knows.
word for it.
Just so everyone
and
knows
he's-
what I'm working with.
And he said unto Ammon,
Hang on, I have
Come.
to Google average tapir penis size.
What? You interrupted and told me
What kind of an admission?
Yeah,
And he
The
said unto
execs at
Ammon,
Google.
Come.
I will go with thee down to the land of Midoni, and there I will plead with the king that he will cast thy brethren out of prison. And it came to pass that as Ammon and Lamoni were journeying thither, they met the father of Lamoni, who was king over all the land.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Big
convenient.
Big Daddy Lamoni.
And behold, the father of Lamoni said unto
Holy
him,
shit. Tapirs have a dick so big, they can actually
hold
scratch
on.
their own backs with it. Holy
What I
fucking
heard-
shit.
They have two trunks.
It looks like, dude, it's longer than their front trunk. This thing looks like a monkey's arm is like sticking out from between this tapir's legs. Jesus fucking Christ. Why? It has a gripping penis. It's like a literal hand at the end.
They could do a Borealis thing with it. It's like a taper Borealis.
And these are the things that you have to hand crank to get them started. So you grab it, it grabs you back.
I just want to say I am not hung like a tapir. That's too much. That's nonsense.
Dude,
You're
trying to
bragging.
jack it off, and it's like getting a handshake.
Oh my god.
You thought the tapirs were like,
This is literally an I fucking love science article titled "Watch a tapir scratch an itch with its enormous prehensile penis."
Okay,
Fucking
TMI,
Christ.
TMI.
It's
I
about
feel like-
tapirs. You'll
I
be
feel like we
fine.
may have been slightly distracted. Whoa!
What the fuck?
Why did
Okay.
I Google? Oh my God! Why did I Google that?
Oh, I don't regret googling it.
I
Okay.
sent that video. I sent that video of somebody trying to get on the tapir to a couple people, and I felt really bad about it. Like I was like, I hope I'm not getting in trouble by doing this shit. Like
Nobody
Falco,
is
don't
hung
look.
like a tapir. Chihuahuas are
goodness.
not hung like a tapir.
Okay,
Blessings.
back to this.
I
book.
just got a mature content reading.
Now you've done it.
Yeah.
Oh,
back to the book, please.
no.
Why did ye not come to the feast on that great day when I made a feast unto my sons and unto my people? And he also said, Whither art thou going with this Nephite, who is one of the children of a liar? And it came to pass that Lamoni rehearsed unto him whither he was going, for he feared to offend him. And he also told him all the cause of his tarrying in his own kingdom, that he did not go unto his father to the feast which he had prepared. And now when Lamoni had rehearsed unto him all these things, behold, to his astonishment, his father was angry with him, and said, Lamoni, thou art going to deliver these Nephites who are sons of a liar. Behold, he robbed our fathers, and now his children are also come amongst us, that they may, by their cunning and their lyings, deceive us, that they again may rob us of our property.
Gazalem, can I put this video in the group chat that we're on Facebook? This GIF of the tapir penis.
No, you don't need my permission.
I think you
Whose
need to
permission
talk
do
to
I need?
Peter.
What?
Why are we focusing
Peter.
on this?
I have to send this to somebody. I've now seen the video, this little GIF. It is shocking. I just want to see
We
it.
We have our
Yes,
Norman
it's
Mormon
funny.
thing on.
Hmm.
I'm going to send it to you,
Mormon
Aaron.
thing
I
on
just
there.
want to watch your face react to this thing.
Am I already watching the same thing?
Is it a tapir on the? Aaron and I are biologists. This is fine. I'm categorizing myself as a biologist now. Is it a tapir on the edge of like a river or something?
Yep.
And it's just like moving it around like an arm with a hand.
You remember the giant snake I was just holding?
Yeah.
He's obviously got it.
Yeah. Bryce, scratch your ear if you want me to send it to you, but you don't want anyone to know that you want me to send it to you.
You're talking about this like I haven't looked this up myself. You kidding me?
So everybody's
I have that gift
coy.
saved.
You guys are all in trouble when the AI take over.
I'm not.
Everyone's acting coy about the tapir dick, but we're all looking at it at the same time. That's what I'm understanding. Like, oh, Jimmy's the weird one because he immediately looked it up.
I'm not looking at it. I don't have any reference to it. I'm just trying to read this freaking book.
So, man,
Jimmy, please.
I won't.
You don't want to, Tomer. You won't
send
be
it
able to
you,
think
man.
about anything else.
Yeah, this
Well, deal with it. This is your problem.
this will occupy my mind through September.
Good.
This is terrifying. I have not been this disturbed
These
since
are
I
your
learned about duck.
consequences.
Since I learned about duck penises. That's the level of. This is probably worse.
This is
Send
the
it to
first
Daniel
time
Peterson.
This is the first time I've seen an animal's
Who's
penis
that?
that was
For
longer
Christ's
than its
sake.
legs.
Yeah, and that hand thing
What
at
do
the
you think
end.
they strapped the fucking chariots to?
Gazalem, do you want me to
thing-
send it directly
This
to
thing
you?
is a gas pump. It can
Oh, that's
wrap
fine
its
by me,
penis
yeah.
around itself and stick it in its ear.
Dude, I gotta watch Gazalem's masked face open this on
Oh,
Facebook.
open link.
Yeah,
If Gazalem's the only one that hasn't seen it, I gotta see his face too.
of course. That's when his picture freezes.
Oh yeah. I've seen horses that are about like that, but their
no,
horses
you
are
haven't.
taller. You know,
Not
horses are
this.
taller, so it hangs off the ground.
But how many functional joints it seems to have in there? Why did your video freeze right when I wanted to see your reaction?
Probably because I'm watching it. That's impressive though.
Oh my god. This
You
is
know what? I'm
terrifying.
beginning to think that maybe we aren't reading this with the reverence. That
Hang on, I have to send it to Vice Rhino. He loves weird animal penis jokes.
Oh, now we're gonna get a video about it in a week or two.
You know what? Some people grow old but never grow up.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, this is like him and Godless Engineer both feature.
Oh,
penis-
let's
animal
power
penis
through
facts.
this. Nope.
This is not my fault. I can't think of
It is your
anyone else
fault,
to blame
Jimmy.
but me. But this is not my fault.
It was
You were the one who made. What I was reading, he was like, "Holy shit, this is enormous!" And then
It was funnier than that.
I
Jimmy-
was
Jimmy,
incapable
Jimmy.
of holding it in.
In
Jimmy, you
fairness,
got-
it is.
Just like
it
the
is
This is how I
shape-
heard it.
Yeah, it is surprising.
This
It's
is how I heard
newsworthy.
it. Tomer said, and King Lamoni said, and then Jimmy jumps in. Holy shit! Have you seen the size of this?
That's what Lamoni said. It was Lamoni's fault. It has an elbow.
I know that the saddles and chariots and the straps had something to do with that.
It doesn't just have an elbow; it has fingers and a thumb.
It kind of looks that way from afar. Oh
Well,
my fucking
I mean,
god.
how else are the tapirs supposed to get around if they have to be jacked off? First, they eventually had to evolve the ability to jack
This
themselves
thing doesn't
off.
have to get.
Oh,
This thing
man.
doesn't have to get jacked up. This thing could jack itself. This thing could jack itself up.
Yeah, it's got a wrist, it's got an elbow, it can make itself all the way around.
Hell, it's picking grass, you know. It's like, picking grass.
Oh, do you have the
tossing it around.
analytics up? Is viewership going up or down right now? That's what I want to know.
It's just a matter of time till it builds a rowboat.
Just tell me the timestamp of this tapir's penis that represents the graph. As it is-
It's probably like.
Somebody,
Oh my
somebody commented that female tapirs must be difficult to reach.
Oh, I've been reading about it too. The reason they have the gripping hand on it is what you think. It's to hold on to the women.
Just like ducks.
Fucking ducks.
So
Do
this
tapirs
thing
also have
doesn't
a fake
have
vagina? Just
this
in
thing
case?
doesn't. This thing doesn't have a worm. It doesn't have a snake. It has a graboid.
Dude, it's disturbing.
If you've seen the movie Tremors, that's what the three.
Oh my God! Yeah.
I feel like such a reverent scriptural scholar now.
Oh my God! I'll try and find one wholesome tapir fact. Go ahead, read, Tomer.
Are you done?
I'm never
Tomer,
done.
why aren't you reading?
Yeah, why am I not reading?
We brought you here to keep us on track.
Yeah, of course. Now the
You're
father
the
of
moral
Lamoni.
backbone.
You gotta lighten up, bro. Jesus Christ.
I'm
You are
doing
the
my
moral
job.
backbone of this show.
I'm just doing my job here. Now the father of Lamoni commanded him that he should slay Ammon with the sword. And he also commanded him that he should not go to the land of Midoni, but that he should return with him to the land of Ishmael. But Lamoni said unto him, I will not slay Ammon, neither will I return to the land of Ishmael. But I go to the land of Midoni that I may release the brethren of Ammon, for I know that they are just men and holy prophets of the true God. Now when his father had heard these words, he was angry with him, and he drew his sword that he might smite him to the earth.
Who's
His
the
own
prophet right
son.
now? Is it Mosiah or Alma the Older is the prophet right now?
I think Alma the Older is a prophet, and because Alma the Younger and the missionaries are out organizing satellite churches, while Alma the Older is back in Zarahemla, like running the church.
Is Mosiah dead? What's his deal? I can't remember. Yeah, he died at the end of Mosiah. Did he?
I can't remember. Shit. No, I thought that the Messiah was still king, and Alma the Older was the prophet of the thing. No. There's no king. They're ruled by judges. Wasn't it Mosiah that was like elevated to chief justice and then they like resigned his status or whatever?
And is fuck, I'm getting all kinds of things mixed up. Is Mosiah Ammon and his brother's dad?
Yes.
No, that's wait. I thought that was
Mosiah-
Alma.
No,
Alma the
Alma-
Older
No.
is father of Alma the Younger and Mosiah and Ammon. Wait, no,
Just Alma
Mosiah-
the Younger. The
just
others
Alma
are-
the Younger.
That's his buddies.
Okay.
Ammon is Mosiah's kid.
Okay. Yeah.
That's
As
what
is Maloki and Amma.
Yeah, Amma
Not
and
Ammon,
Aaron.
but Amma.
and then the one normal named kid, Aaron,
Aaron.
who's coming home from school, just like
You're full
everyone
Egyptian.
made fun of me because my name's normal.
For an Egyptian, it'll actually be Aaron. Aaron.
Sure.
Aaron, actually.
They
Hey,
pronounce
Aaron.
it wrong. just like everybody.
Okay.
Hey, Aaron.
But Ammon stood forth and said unto him, Behold, thou shalt not slay thy son. Nevertheless, it were better that he should fall than thee. For behold, he has repented of his sins. But if thou shouldest fall at this time in thine anger, thy soul could not be saved.
Such a trump card. Yeah, you can't kill me, but even if you do, my afterlife's better than yours, bitch. Ha ha ha. Take that, Dad.
And again, it is expedient that thou shouldest forbear. For if thou shouldest slay thy son, he being an innocent man, his blood would cry from the ground to the Lord his God for vengeance to come upon thee, and perhaps thou wouldest lose thy soul. And when Ammon had said these words unto him, he answered him, saying, I know that if I should slay my son, that I should shed innocent blood, for it is thou that hast sought to destroy him. And he stretched forth his hand to slay Ammon. But Ammon withstood his blows, and also smote his arms that he could not use it.
Oh, he's like, oh, my
So
arm.
fucking ninja.
This is plot armor again. Like Ammon's dad is like sorry, no.
Lamoni.
Lamoni's dad is literally hitting him with a sword, and he's just like tanking the blows. Like, is that all you got, Dad?
Now when the king saw that Ammon could slay him, he began to plead with Ammon that he would spare his life. But Ammon raised his sword and said unto him, Behold, I will smite thee, except thou wilt grant unto me that my brethren may be cast out of prison. Now the king, fearing he should lose his life, said, If thou wilt spare me, I will grant unto thee whatsoever thou wilt ask, even to half of the kingdom.
Oh, nice.
No, I don't care about your kingdom. Blow me, bitch.
I think that's a reference to Esther as well. Now, when
I
Ammon-
also-
My kingdom for a horse or a tapir.
I just found a fun fact. Tapirs' closest living relatives are horses and rhinos. Somehow,
See, Daniel was right.
Discussed earlier.
Yeah.
Daniel was right.
I also love that King Lamoni and Ammon are rolling around here with no entourage, and the king over the entire land, the king of all of the Lamanites, is also rolling around without an entourage, without any bodyguards. And these three dudes just come up on the prairie to each other and have an argument. And somehow they overpower the king of kings, and he's like, "Don't kill me! I'll give you half my king." It's just so stupid. I'm
it's his dad, Lamoni's dad.
Yeah, it's just insane.
Every single list of facts about tapirs, and I've been through like 11 now. Every single list puts the penis toward the end. Just want everyone to know.
You found a deep cut there, brother.
Do you think if someone at Google right now is like, hey, hundreds of people just Googled tapir penises. Does anyone want to look up why that is?
I'm not one of them.
Me think thou dost.
Methinks thou dost. Now when Ammon saw that he had wrought upon the old king according to his desire, he said unto him, If thou wilt grant that my brethren may be cast out of prison, and also that Lamoni may retain his kingdom, and that ye be not displeased with him, but grant that he may do according to his own desires in whatsoever thing he thinketh, then will I spare thee, otherwise I will smite thee to the earth. Now when Ammon had said these words, the king began to rejoice because of his life. And when he saw that Ammon had no desire to destroy him, and when he also saw the great love he had for his son Lamoni, he was astonished exceedingly, and said, Because this is all that thou hast desired, that I would release thy brethren, and suffer that my son Lamoni should retain his kingdom, behold, I will grant unto you that my son may retain his kingdom from this time and forever, and I will govern him no more.
See, acceptance. When your son brings home a lovely man, don't get up in arms about it. Don't try and kill them, both of them. Just accept them and be like, no, you can live your life how you want, son. I love you. That's the right way.
He had tough love at first, but he's turned around.
That's right. The hearts of the fathers to the children, and vice versa.
Sometimes
I don't know how I missed this in all of this fascination over penises, but what was this a gay love story that I missed?
That's literally what we just read. Yes, exactly.
They do play with their swords an awful lot.
It's the threesome.
I'm sorry, I was staring in awe at this fucking gif and missed.
That's why the queen needs a mistress.
I did see that in verse 30 we get the word stiff-necked back again, so probably.
Okay.
And I will also grant unto thee that thy brethren may be cast out of prison, and thou and thy brethren may come unto me in my kingdom. For I shall greatly desire to see thee. For the king was greatly astonished at the words which he had spoken, and also at the words which had been spoken by his son Lamoni. Therefore he was desirous to learn them. And it came to pass that Ammon and Lamoni proceeded on their journey towards the land of Midoni, and Lamoni found favor in the eyes of the king of the land. Therefore the brethren of Ammon were brought forth out of prison. And when Ammon did meet them, he was exceedingly sorrowful, for behold, they were naked, and their skins were worn exceedingly because of being bound with strong cords. And they also had suffered hunger, thirst, and all kinds of afflictions. Nevertheless, they were patient in all their sufferings. And, as it happened, it was their lot to have fallen into the hands of a more hardened and a more stiff-necked people. Therefore, they would not hearken unto their words, and they had cast them out, and had smitten them, and had driven them from house to house, and from place to place, even until they had arrived in the land of Midoni. And there they were taken and cast into prison, and bound with strong cords, and kept in prison for many days, and were delivered by Lamoni and Ammon.
Did you have smitten? Because I have smote. Had smote them.
I have smitten.
Yeah, I have smote as well.
Okay.
It's interesting that the text makes a point of saying it was their lot to have the harder time when we just read about Ammon basically meeting no resistance. He just walks up to the king and is like, convert, and a week later, he does.
Can somebody please just give me a recap on this last chapter?
Oh.
Yep. So Lamoni is the king, Lamanite king. Ammon shows up and is like, "Hey, I just want to be your servant." After having a conversation with the king, and then he goes and beats.
I just want to be your love
servant. Yep, pretty much. This cuts off a bunch of dudes' arms as they were trying to scatter the flocks, and gained favor with the king Lamoni. And the king Lamoni brought Ammon in and was like, "Hey, what's going on?" And Lamoni was like, "Have you ever heard of Jesus?" That made Lamoni and the queen and the servants, they all fell on the ground as if they were dead. And then they all woke up, and then miraculously, the whole Lamoni's kingdom is basically converted to Christianity. And then Lamoni and Ammon are now 2 by 2, the missionaries going out there to try and free Ammon's brethren who are in prison. They met the king of the king Lamoni's dad, the king of Lamanites, who is still not named. I think he gets a name pretty soon here, but still not named. And then, that king also converts after almost killing his son and his son's brother.
Okay, thank you for that.
That's everything we just read. Yep.
That was good, Bryce.
But there's also like, there are a few of the larger points that there's the Gazalem and I were talking about earlier, like this Pentecostalism is in this section. That is not anywhere in Mormonism. Women speaking. That's like the first time this has happened in the Book of Mormon, that a woman has speaking lines in this book. That was really cool.
She has the priesthood. She's a priestess.
Yep. She has the priesthood. She used the healing power of the priesthood to raise her husband. Like, there's a whole bunch of stuff that just happened in here that is pretty anti-Mormon. And it's fun.
Okay, so just for clarification, reiteration, this is the women having the priesthood is a contradiction, but from
That's a hugely problematic thing in the church, because as scholars have even brought up the fact that women in the Book of Mormon, as well as women in Joseph Smith's church, were exercising the priesthood. The church, the corporate church, has excommunicated those scholars for saying that. And there's an entire movement that's known as ordained women in Mormonism to try and get women access to the priesthood. And every time their movement is summarily quashed. They even had the oaths to go to church in pants, and that caused a huge wave of punishment for those women.
I'm really confused now. So the LDS is excommunicating people who read that women have the priesthood, and who then also say, have you noticed that women get the priesthood? If you say that, you get excommunicated?
Yeah, the most well-known excommunications are known as the September 6th. This happened in 1993, and 3 of those 6 excommunications were focused around one book specifically that was Women in Authority, that argued for the historical precedent of women using or having the priesthood and then exercising it. And 3 of those 6 scholars were their punishments were largely tied to that book.
And some people say our Heavenly Mother is the Holy Ghost.
Yeah.
That whole Mormon movement with the Heavenly Mother and everything, it's like, that's why Rusty was cracking down on it recently and say, no more Holy Heavenly Mother talk, because people were actually praying to their Heavenly Mother and stuff.
I'm a little confused at that.
Which one?
Because
Well, that's the problem. That's why corporate Mormonism doesn't want Mormons praying to Heavenly Mother, because that brings up all sorts of questions of like, wait, which Heavenly Mother? Like, Jimmy, do you and I have the same Heavenly Mother? Or not? I mean, we look pretty similar, right?
Yeah,
both,
I mean, practically twins.
So, like, we probably come from the same Heavenly Mother, but Gazalem and I certainly don't.
I think maybe all 5 of us come from the same one. And we're all looking like Nephites, is all I'm saying.
There's no God.
All right.
Well, technically, there's 6 of us, but Tomer always looks like an equation.
I don't know what Tomer looks like.
I was because no one can figure Tomer out.
I was more commenting that we're 5 white boys.
Gentile.
Okay.
Tomer could be anything.
He's not a Gentile.
An alien.
That's so frustrating. I had like 2 questions burning, and then I get my chance to speak, and I lost them both.
Women in authority, women being ordained to the priesthood, Heavenly Mother,
Heavenly
people
Mother.
praying to Heavenly Mother.
I'm
Yeah,
not
so
worried if you're
the
there.
wants people to read the book,
Yeah.
but they don't want people to notice what it says.
Yeah.
Well, they've got apologetics for it now, which I think is in all cases they were directing the priesthood of their fathers or their husbands. I think is their current explanation that God made an exception and allowed the wives to call on the priesthood of their husbands. I think
When the husbands are incapacitated, unable to exercise their priesthood physically, then the women just channel their husband's priesthood. And that's what the current apologetic or the current language that is discussed about women having the priesthood is they have access to the priesthood. That's what Dallin Oaks, the current apostle Dallin Oaks, says.
Let me
they
just
have access.
Let me just make a suggestion. Are you unable to practice the priesthood physically? Try Viagra. Sorry.
Consult your doctor if the condition persists for
we
more
get
than
it,
4
Aaron.
hours.
You're still thinking about that tapir dick. So am I.
Or you can eat some
I'm still
magic
watching
Mormon
that
crickets.
here.
Make a stir fry.
Ooh,
Make some stir fry.
now you have my
There you
attention.
go.
Okay, I've got a couple more comments I got to read, and then we got to close this thing up. Tomer, have you finished your commentary?
Fuck you.
I think it was. I think that was genuine.
That poor person, they're like, oh,
Every week he
do you
acts
have
like
anything more to say, man?
every week he acts like he hated to be here, and then next week he's back. The others don't get you, Tomer. You're either here for the tapir dicks or you're not. Pick a side.
Likes the masochism.
That's right.
Okay, so I got to read
hurts
these
so
comments. Zarnarankar says, question, if they have things in the book that are not what Mormons do, is it more of a cherry picking thing or more of a we forgot this was in a book sort of situation?
Well, that's why there's so many different Mormons. So you have the Rustyite Church, which is headquartered in Salt Lake City, that they don't encourage any reading of or looking into these things. They have the whole mantra, doubt your doubts and stuff. They are anti-intellectuals. They don't want people to read this.
And more importantly, they have very strictly confined study guides. You're supposed to read the Book of Mormon with study guides, and it gives you specifically the passages that you're supposed to read, and it tells you what you're supposed to take away from those passages. So, like, Scripture study is exceptionally siloed in Mormonism to the point that they have gone through periods and phases where they have discouraged reading groups and Scripture study groups because they don't want people to start thinking about these things without the strictly controlled, narrow study manuals that they prepare.
Because
Whatever
you
you
get
do.
people like the Laffertys and Dan Lafferty that have their school of prophets and interpret this stuff to where you kill your family.
Yeah, or you get the Toscanos who publicly say that women should have authority and that the Heavenly Mother's a thing. Yeah, of course.
How could you have this much disagreement and disparity over and not just that, but that you know that it says what it says and you're still pretending that it doesn't say that? Which I personally experienced with my own mother. I know I've told the story before, but I'm going to say it again. You know, when my mom when I was a kid, my mom had the Mormon missionaries come over and teach me about Mormonism because she told me if I'm criticizing Mormonism and I haven't studied it, that makes me a hypocrite. I agreed that she was right. It's probably the only time she ever was, but I agreed that she was. And I had the Mormon missionaries come over, and I saw they leave me a paper. Had a very fun conversation listening to them saying all this ridiculous shit, but then they leave me a paper outlining Mormon belief. I try confronting my mother, saying after they leave, so you believe this, this, and this. And she gets angry. She goes, no, we don't believe that. I'm just reading from the paper. She said, we don't believe that. And I said, well, according to this, you do. And so she ripped the paper out of my hand, threw it in the trash can, and said, it doesn't say that. Wow. So I tried to reach into the trash can to pull it, and it does. And then she steps between me to say that it doesn't say that. Wait, so you're stopping me from getting the paper because you know that it says that, and you know that I know that you know that it says that.
You gotta keep
doing
it.
right
Did
now?
she know that
Personal
you knew that she knew that you knew? And did you
Never-
know that she knew that you knew that she knew that you knew?
Never let the facts get in the way of a good story.
That's right.
I think people
But,
are
but
allowed
that's
to.
exactly the thought process is going on here. These are the people in the higher realms, right, of this book. They know that the book says this,
Yes.
and they're going to punish anybody who reads it and also notices that it says this.
Yes, and they are relying on the collective ignorance of the populace to not be any of the wiser when these contradictions are very readily apparent to any outside observer.
Though lately they're more relying on that ignorant populace to just double down and sound stupid and be okay with it.
Yeah, that
Like,
works too.
hey,
Yeah, that's true.
maybe I sounded like an idiot, but I did bear my testimony, so it's a wash.
Yeah, because I know these things are true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Okay,
don't
so
have to understand why 2 + 2 = 5. I just know God will explain it to me one day.
That was the answer I always got whenever whenever I argued anybody into an uncompromised position where they can't get out, and they would always say, "Well, you're going to find out one day."
Yeah, you'll know in the next world.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
So
we've
you're
already
admitting
found
you
out.
can't tell me today. Good enough.
Yeah. So Deviant Outcast says, panel, someone should inform Hovind. He takes all them giant penises.
No, no.
And I am not going to go into his entertainment choices. Just saying, I'm friends with wife number 3.
Oh,
Whoa.
I just Googled, and he apparently has a tapir rescue on his compound.
That's what I was wondering if there was one on the Ark.
Yeah. No, you're thinking of Ham. We're talking about Hovind.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's
I
right
get
next.
those guys
It's
mixed
right
up
next to
now.
the. Yeah, I do too. It's on Hovind's compound. It's right next to the lake that he bragged about a child drowning in. Fuck,
Oh,
I hate
geez.
that man so fucking much. That's a real story. Maybe I've already said it on the show, but the 2-sentence version is a kid drowned there, and he addressed it and basically bragged about how it turned into a thing where the parents were so content and happy with how the drowning was handled that they donated like a floating gazebo there. So it worked really great for the church. Okay, we got a gazebo. They got a dead kid. Everybody's happy.
Yeah, the motherfucker went to the hospital, and instead of being like there with the family, like the minister of that group, no, he's running around handing out business cards to doctors. Buy my DVDs.
Oh,
Whoa.
not only did a tragedy go unused, okay.
The thing that I noticed in his public statement about that was, yeah, one of the kids died, but the rest of the family had a great time.
Oh, it was a good
Yeah,
time.
that's what I was all thinking. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Ah.
Ember, it wasn't business cards. It was flyers for people to come to Dinosaur Adventureland. He was there with the kid that drowned, and then inviting more people to come over.
Look, he
Got
drowned
any
on
kids
a
you
Tuesday.
don't want?
Yeah.
Bring him to Dinosaur Adventureland.
Oh,
Look,
geez.
hey, look, he drowned on a Tuesday, okay, and they were here for 9 days, okay, so 8 good days, 1 bad day. That's a good vacation, okay.
Oh, God.
So Tom offers $4.99 and says, "Oh man, flashback to Lilith's study guide stories." All right, anybody got any closing comments?
Oh, what a great
We're over
episode.
time.
That was fun. That was fun.
Yeah, we
that was a lot
are.
of fun.
I gotta scoot and get ready for my thingy.
Yeah, I also need to.
How can you even
I
talk
also-
about your thingy anymore?
Oh my God! Right now,
compared to a tapir penis, it's nothing.
He
but-
calls it his thingy now after the tapir penis.
Yeah.
I've mentioned before that many people know I'm bi, and I've mentioned before on some days I'm just gay, but after seeing that tapir penis, today I'm straight. I am straight for the rest of the day. I don't want to hear about penises. I don't want to think about penises. For the rest of Sunday, I'm a straight man.
I don't mind grabbing it, but I don't want it to grab me back.
Oh my God!
Oh, no.
Fucking Jesus
Yeah,
Christ!
yeah.
I
So
haven't-
you know,
I haven't been this disturbed since I saw Tom Green in the frame.
So yeah, we're doing an open mic tonight. So come on over to my place and tell me what you think about tapir penises. It'll be a great time.
Are you talking about online somewhere or in person?
Yeah, on my
Tom-
channel.
Oh, weird.
Tom Green was a polygamist. I used to cut his
Uh,
hair, actually.
I didn't know that. I just knew he jacked off a elephant in a movie, like real life.
I love
jacked
your-
off an
Peter,
elephant.
please close
I love
this.
your fashion, Gazalem.
That's so
Oh,
good.
thank you.
That is a fantastic hat, I must admit.
Yep.
It's the garb of a prophet.
Okay.
I was gonna try to make a joke where you're putting a hat on a mask and assume that everybody would know the reference to the phrase "hat on a hat," and I just felt it wouldn't work, so I didn't do it. But now I've explained it, and no one had fun.
That is the way to go.
My phone's
All right.
gonna die, so.
Hasta bye bye.
We're
Love you
off
guys.
air, right? Oh,
No.
No.
So what do we? Alma 21.
That's my show. Come here, that's my show. Herding cats is my show. You can't take over my show.